We'll see if this one works. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this for like the fourth time tonight, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. Trying to pull this live stream off here, and we've been having some hilarious technical difficulties. If you managed to find your way back to the channel, thank you for getting here. If you're new and you're wondering what the heck is going on, please, this is an awesome channel. We have fun. Smash that subscribe and like button. Hang out with us for a while and see what I'm talking about. We're going to have a good time tonight. So we have a lot of fun on these live streams. We talk a lot about fishing stuff, give out tips and tricks, but also this is one hilarious, fun community where we have a great time. We do giveaways. I try to share and give back to the community. Excuse me. And yeah, we have a lot of fun. That's the big main point. Entertaining, educational, and definitely good time, good people. So without further ado, let's get into tonight's episode / podcast, whatever you want to call it, live stream doohickey here with Common Sense Fishing. Yo, Marco, Houston, Iraq. We got 3 people back. 4. Looks like you guys have found your way back. Thank you, and I'm so sorry. Smash that like button if you get a chance. I know this has been one heck of a start to the night. I tried to get going on at 6. Here it is, 6:32, and I barely managed to pull it off. Haha, you're off work tonight, so you can make it. Cool. It's good now? Sweet. All right, we have a great show for you guys and gals. If you get a chance, smash that like button just for the hilarity of how funny tonight's been. It's been a half an hour of madness and trying to get this live stream going. So I appreciate everybody who stuck with me. And for those of you who got flustered and frustrated, hopefully we'll see you later tonight or soon. If not, always on one of the next podcast / live streams. Don't forget we do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're new here, Common Sense Fishing, where we go over all kinds of fishing stuff. We do giveaways. We have all kinds of fun. We do educational videos. We talk a lot about fishing. I upload lots of different stuff. Musical too. I did another fishing music video, so this will be my 3rd one. Play it for you guys tonight. So you're not going to get to see it because right now it's members only. So if you're a member, you have access. You can go check it out right now. It's my 3rd fishing song actually that I've been working on, and it's a decent one. It's fun. True story. I pulled it off and did that complete song in under 2 hours, probably an hour and a half. So from writing it and cutting it and then downloading it, everything took me less than 2 hours. So I'm just having fun. It's not like the super highest quality. I'm not trying to chase my dreams of being like some kind of bigwig musician. There goes Casper right there, calling myself a magician. Woo-wee, I am now, I guess. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys and gals. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the 10 biggest bass fishing myths. We've got an article pulled up. We're going to go over some pretty cool information in there. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And always, if you guys want to have any kind of conversation, you got something you want to talk about, chat box is right there. You can always leave a comment. Very interactive, so I will answer questions, and I like jumping down rabbit holes. So but anyways, to the theme of tonight's show is basically we have a live raffle we're going to do. So we're giving a raffle. We're doing the reel and all the lures, 3 different prizes. So 1 set of lures, another set of lures, then the reel. So we'll probably start with 1 set, go to another, and we'll do the reel last. And then what we're going to do is we're also going to show you guys and gals my fishing music video, or at least you can listen to it. Let me know what you think. I don't know how well the sound's going to transfer through, but like I said, if you're a member, that's something if you haven't got to check out yet, you can check that out. Otherwise, for the rest of the subscribers and everybody else, That fishing music video will probably be hitting like Friday or something like that, maybe even Monday. But I've also got another video out at the Delta, so enough self promotion. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, so to speak. Let's have some fun and get into tonight's topic. So, everybody, thank you guys for making it. You guys are warriors. You managed to get through my little technical difficulty hell, my little my moment of mental non-preparedness. And I don't know, I think it has something to do with the new mic and the new camera, and the program maybe just is everything ain't set up right or something, because everything, computers are pretty advanced, but can be if you make them that way. Otherwise they're not that advanced, but I can usually figure stuff out. It takes a while for me bumbling through, and doing it live probably wasn't the best way, but it's the only way I could test it really and know if it works. So, because it may work when I'm doing a video recording of it, but as soon as I stream live or I plug a mic in or I do something and then pop, all of a sudden it stops working or doing something. So I got to figure out what the heck's going on, because I was trying to do a live share the screen with you guys and gals. So anyways, super stoked. We still got a lot of fun we're going to have tonight. So smash that like button and put your seatbelts on. Tonight's going to be a fun one. Yeah, you're going to bring the drone, but the laws in California are strict. I don't know. Like I know they are, like if the drone flies too high. Otherwise, for like toy drones, like what they can classify as, even if it's a high end one, if you're just flying it low around for footage to record, I know most places are, they're not going to say nothing about it. Nobody's going to care at all. It's just if you're like in an actual fly zone, or you're flying around where helicopters and other things could be, then yeah, you could get, they'll actually try to find you and track you down too. But it depends where you're at and what you're doing with it. I'm not a big drone expert though, by the way. So it's just stuff I've heard that, yeah, you got to check with like airspace and this and that, especially if it flies over like a certain altitude. I don't remember what it is. You'd probably know better than me, honestly. Out there in Cali, do I ever do any hunting? No, I don't do a lot of hunting. I want to get into it, but if I do hunting, I'd really, bow and arrow hunting, and I'd probably like to get into it with my buddy Jeremy. He'd be down to hunt, so just got to maybe pick a day or two and actually go out there and do it, and maybe take you guys for the ride. That'd be pretty cool. But I'm into a lot of different stuff. It's just never did it before, so I'd rather do bow and arrow. That's my thing. Because be honest, I can't have a gun from something stupid that I didn't do when I was 19 years old. I'm pretty sure I've told you guys all the story. I got screwed big time, and it's very like next to impossible unless I become extremely rich. I remember getting told by the lawyer that I better have 25 grand or something to donate towards like somebody's well, I have to get a pardon from the governor or something. So, and like I'm innocent in my story, I really am. Most people say that crap, but I really was. I was a dumb 19-year-old kid that just, didn't want to tell on his friends, and was kind of scared and forced by the system into taking a deal that was just really horrible and stupid for me. And then one of the friends didn't really help, being super dumb and even he tried to like say, hey, he's innocent, but he told on everybody else. So they had all the information, and they were basically like, well, we're just gonna get all four of you guys. And they're like, the only way you can get out of it is if you specifically help get them in more trouble. And I'm like, what the hell with all that shit? Very complicated, long story. So unfortunately, I haven't. So things with guns have just not interested me. Although I've always supported the Second Amendment right, and I've always wanted to have them. I just wouldn't illegally purchase them because I don't want to get my door kicked in. Because ever since I've been a super, pretty much square, clean dude, I've done my share of dumb things, but I didn't do that. I was super innocent in what I got charged and convicted. Well, I didn't even get convicted, but no contest, but still screwed my rights. So that's why it's super important who you hang out with. You got to watch that. So, anyways, yeah, bow and arrow fishing is all I'd be doing. I tell you what. Yeah, 19 years old. I'm 40 years old now, so it was 21 years ago. You would think there would be even a statute of limitations, even if it was like murder or something or something crazy, because it's like supposed to be your Second Amendment right. It's not supposed to be infringed. They're not supposed to be able to take it away from you. That's what the Constitution says. Now I understand violent felons and criminals, which is where they get me because that's on the technicality, but I never did anything. And I've told the story on here a long time ago. I'd be open to telling it again. It's a pretty wicked one. So, but for most of the people that know me or know the channel, I think you guys probably most all remember the story of my car crash and sinking underwater and hitting, going like between 80 and 100, flipping 3 times, being stuck upside down, can't open the door, having to bring back my buddy from the dead and perform rescue breathing on him, save his life, did all this crap. My buddies got me into some stupid crap that yes, they did, but I was completely innocent and I'm just stuck between a rock and a hard spot. And, shite happens supposedly. So, got to just roll with it and deal with it. So instead of crying about the past, what I did is I made good with my future and my present. So I got my life together. I got a college degree in HVAC. I got a trade. I got a skill, and I put it to good work and good use. And then instead of just working it like a job, I actually really appreciated the opportunity that it gave me to get out of the situation that I was in, because I was in a hole that I didn't put myself in. But what you going to do when you're in it? Cry and complain, and moan. Nobody's going to stop and help you out that hole, and even then, if someone does, you still got to climb out of it, right? So, but it is what it is. So, but, um, so that's why bow hunting, I would really get into it. It's just I don't really know anyone else who bow hunts except my buddy would be down. He has a gun, but then I'd be like, well, then, I'm like, I want to kill something. You're just going to take the first shot from like a mile away. I can't hit it with my bow if you're going to hit it with your gun. I'm like, that's not fair, unless we like take turns or something and go after, So I don't know. But either way, I'm into hunting and the principles of it. I love the outdoors. I love fishing, hunting, like camping, stuff like that. Like, I mean, I don't love hunting as far as I haven't done much of it, but I love, like, I've gone with my buddy when he's, been out hunting. I've been, you know, out and about when we killed small rodents and animals with BB guns or little guns. So my buddies had guns or rifles and killed little things and barbecued it out in the wilderness up in like Mariposa, stuff like that. But like I would not be opposed to it. It's just something that I don't have any experience with. So I wouldn't be able to, connect on that level just yet, but I would love to. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Damn, YouTube LOL sharing the new link now. Like after what, 15 minutes of runtime already? Hello, folks. How's it going, everybody? Smash that like if you guys get a chance. Thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. So tonight's live stream, we're going to be talking about 10 top bass fishing myths. We're also going to be doing a live raffle tonight to choose the winner of the reel and 2 lure packs. I've got a fishing music video. And as always, we just shoot the breeze and have fun here. We had a lot of technical difficulties. So does the mic sound good, everybody? Is the audio level like a little clearer? From my end, I can tell the picture looks a little better. I mean, it's still not, it's like it's super perfect or anything. And I know the lighting isn't the best, but I think the picture looks a little better. For some reason, it seems like I can, like this is a wide angle camera. Like I think I can see most of the entire room right now. So I could turn the camera a little bit and you could see more of my awesome shelf over here. So pretty cool. Appreciate it. So new additions to the channel. You know, we got the microphone, we got the new camera, and I was looking into getting a drone. But before I got the drone, I got a second set of I got two GoPro 9s now. So we're gonna kind of do things from different angles. So that way, like if I'm catching the same fish, I could say GoPro turn on, GoPro record, right? Both of them will pop on, start recording. Then I might be able to catch an angle from like up front by the trolling motor, looking up at me, at her chest, looking down, stuff like that, or from the pole that I'm going to get for the back. So we're making some changes, and the cool thing is I like supporting other guys, other channels, other fishermen. We do giveaways, we do stuff like that on this channel. I'm not rich by any means. I don't have a lot of money. I'm actually kind of struggling myself, but when I do have an abundance of lures or a couple things here and there, I like to share. So one thing we're going to be doing here is I've got another buddy that I kind of look up to, in a sense that he reminds me of my pops. And so, like, of course my pops is still with me, but he seems like a really nice dude. So terrible at fishing. We're going to be sending him my GoPro 8. So, you know, trying to help out a fellow YouTuber. Hopefully this will improve his video quality, improve his channel a little bit, and just trying to spread some love and you know, share the love of fishing and doing these YouTube videos, podcasts, all that stuff. So anyways, without further ado, like I said, let's jump into tonight's topics. And I don't know where to start with. I don't really want to do the giveaway just yet. I think we'll save that for like midway of the show. We'll do the raffle, I mean. So for those of you who paid for spots, we're going to do that tonight. If you want to watch that, stick around, hang out. But we're also going to show, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to watch this audio level here. We're going to give you guys and gals a sneak peek at my new fishing song that I'm working on. It's called Catching Double Digits. So let me know what you guys and gals think. All right.
Double digits, I'm at the double digits. Double digits, I'm at the double digits. What? I'm back with a track about to smack a double digit in the lid. Rib with a big stick. Don't forget to throw jigs and pigs and hogs next to boulders and logs. The crank making parallel to shore. Hardcore, let me show you some more. Top waters like the slaughter on the bank lake points. Square bills and deep divers. Bass fishing MacGyver. Pick them off like a sniper. Hook sets like a viper. I'm out fishing all night. Double digits, I'm at the double digits. Double digits, I'm at the double digits. I'm at the double digits. I'm at the double digits. So tell me now, what is it that makes me midget? I'm chasing fishies as big as double digits. I come and get it. I come to join the club and show some love. Let's blow it up and show them what. Common sense fishing, giving out tips and tricks how to catch the big fish. Join up for memberships, giveaways and trips. We love to fish, so it's out on the lakes and delta. All I'm trying to do is have some fun and help you. So when you're headed out fishing, make sure you bump it. Catching double digits, catching double digits.
Double digits.
Double digits. Double digits, I'm after double digits. Double digits.
So that's the song I'm working on, guys and gals. So it's kind of like the rough draft right there. So the video is kind of cool. Like, it's me catching a double digit in the beginning. There's a double digit like halfway through, and then I just show me catching like a 5-pounder at the Delta, and then I roll through a bunch of 4, 5, 6, 7s. There's a couple of 9s, and there's another double digit. There's 2 double digits in there, so there's a total of 4 that you see in the video. And it's called Catching Double Digits. So if you're a member of the channel, that video is available to you now. You can see it. So if you haven't seen it yet, you know, get a chance to go check that out. So I appreciate it. I've actually got 3 fishing songs. I've got the Common Sense Fishing music video. Excuse me. And I've got I've got That's Why I Fish. So check it out. We'll play this one too. Let me know what you guys think. So, all right. We're not going to do too much music, so I don't want to annoy you guys and gals. Appreciate you very much. Just wanted to show you we got a couple of fishing music videos we've been working on. So we'll do this one next right here. So this is kind of my theme song to this is the theme song basically to the channel.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. Thanks for listening. I hope you smash that subscribe. Thank you very much.
This is on a different microphone.
Common Sense Fishing, fishing. Catch me on the river. I'm the nigga sick like liquor to your liver. Call me Mr. Lip Ripper. Big fish, get it. Take a picture, catch and release. Not to the grease, but if that's you, that's cool too. Just live by the golden rule. If it's over 3, throw it back. Whether you want to show it a pass, throw it around like yeah. Shout it back. Common Sense Fishing. Common Sense Fishing, fishing. Put me on the commission, mission, put the bass into submission. Get the ignition, combustion, moving the pistons. Work going the distance, encoder for the assistance. Spotlight gets the business. Vision for the business. God is my witness. It's my business. Yeah, Common Sense Fishing. Common Sense Fishing. Common Sense Fishing, fishing. Common Sense Fishing. Thanks for hanging out and bearing with me as I play a couple of the songs. Just wanted to show you guys and gals, if you didn't realize, I've actually got a couple of songs. Nitro, Michael, Psycho, on these bass like Michael Myers. The lips with my rips with the big stick. Big bass on the deck of my boat. Then watch the haters disappear like some snow. Chicken pig down the throat. It's a hard road and no joke. Double digit on my pole. It's the ace in the hole. The fishing with common sense. Might as well have a cheat code on lock. Catch a big bass, don't stop. We headed for the top. So come along for the ride. You know how the saying goes. But did you die? Common Sense Fishing. Common Sense Fishing, fishing. Common Sense Fishing. Common Sense Fishing, fishing. So I've got that one, and I got another one called That's Why I Fish. And it shows me and all of my kids fishing. So it shows each one of my kids in just awesome moments of like super smiles on their face, holding big old fish, and got them fighting fish and fish leaping in the air. And it's all about me and my kids. And then it's like, this is why I fish, you know, because life's, and then Ish Monroe is like my favorite, the square bill, my favorite square bill to throw. Instead of saying life's a bee, I just said life's an ish, you know, and this is why I fish. You know, time with the family and kids, you know, it makes it all worth it, doesn't it? With friends, family, all the good times that we spend. So I've got a third song, so I'm not going to bore you guys and gals with that and, you know, annoy the shite out of you. So hopefully you guys like that. But yeah, we've got 3 fishing songs now on the channel. I could make plenty more. I actually have 120 something songs, I believe, over the course of 20 something years that I haven't released because I just, you know, I never really wanted to chase the dream of being an actual professional rapper because it was all gangster rap back in the days. And it was like, I'm as hard as the next dude, but I'm not trying to get shot and killed to prove it, you know? It's like, if I have to defend myself, dude, I will. And I'm not the guy you want to walk into in the dark alley with, especially people don't know I'm an old black belt. You know, I can move faster and hit harder than I look. And I do weigh 275. I'm not a chump, but I'm by no means stupid, you know. I'm not dumb trying to get into confrontations, right? So it's like, so, you know, rapping back in the days is nothing like what it is now. So you couldn't really be a rapper in the 90s and early 2000s without it having to be gangster.
And then if you did try to talk about like subjects that mattered, people were just like, huh, you know, or if you got deep, they'd like it and it was cool and all, but it was just, you would be that one person trying to rap about fishing or rap about hard struggles of life, and everybody else is talking about women and drugs and gang banging and shooting, or manly this, or I'm badass that, and my gold chain this. So it was like, it was tough trying to be, a rapper back in the days. Nowadays, I see people are just, they're doing what I didn't have the courage to do, and they're just being themselves. And so I've got a lot of that, old stuff. I'm like an old school style, I guess. But hey, it's just me being me, a little outlet to have fun, ain't to go anywhere. But I like sharing it with you guys and gals. So hopefully, you guys like it and it's not too annoying. But favorite rapper, I like. By the way, I like all music. I'm into country. I used to have a mohawk, heavy into rock and roll, Metallica, stuff like that. I'm into even like electronic and weird music, believe it or not. If you've ever heard the song Enigma, Return to Innocence from the 90s, weird stuff like that. Anyways, if you want to talk about who's my favorite rapper, it's got to be hands down Tupac. I think Tupac is like the Bruce Lee of rapping, and that if he were alive today, he would take any rapper and eat them alive. Even dudes like Eminem, like have like super style, but Tupac just pulls out the word. Like, so you got guys that can say some really deep stuff, but they just say it super fast, or they really expound upon certain words and it makes the burn sound super hard. But Tupac was just gangster and badass and real and just super deep too. So like, he was one of my favorites. And then I'd have to say Eminem's a goat. He is one of the best. And then I'd have to say towards newer rappers, I like Tom McDonald's message. I like that he tackles like political stuff. I think he's got some flow, but I would have to say skill level, definitely people like NF and Hobson have him buried. And I think like Hobson smashes on these other dudes. I don't even like to talk about most of the mainstream rappers. To me, are all whack as, I don't actually like even listen to them. So I'm an old school rapper listening to type dude. Or if it's the new stuff, it's got to be like Hobson is really cool. I dig his stuff. NF, like I said, uh, Mac Dre, right? Mac Dre is freaking the man too. But I have to tell you, I have a real heavy influence of like Brother Lynch, um, Mr. Doctor, Sibo. The Sacramento gangster rappers had a heavy influence in my childhood. So like if I rap, I sound like a mixture of almost all of them. I even got a song where I can imitate E40 like almost perfectly, just to do it to show that I could do it, and it's a pretty cool song. So yeah, Tech Nine is pretty cool. Tech Nine's legit. So X Rated, all those guys. I performed at uh, what's his name, Looney Coleone, or was it Kilate? I performed at his birthday party in Modesto during the X Fest of like 2000 and like 2005, maybe I want to say it was. And I killed it. I had the crowd go nuts. And we were all dressed in military gear, and then we're wearing black shirts and then military pants, and we had hoodies on, and I was hid in the back. They didn't want nobody to see they had a white dude with them. And I was with four gangster ass black dudes, right? One was Grinch the rapper, one was Chaos the assassin, and the other one was I forget his name. They were all gangster like rappers from the Sac and Bay Area type stuff, and I was last, so it was cool. They all hammered it pretty good, and it was a beat that I had got on my computer, and we did everything at my house on Adobe Edition 2005, and I was playing with sound effects before Ti, before all them fools were, and I was doing stuff on an epic level, making a sound one time sound like a demon for a sentence, throwing echoes and all kinds of cool stuff in, or reverb, or just like making the voice sound different. Or throwing where you do two tracks and you'll do doubles, right? And then one will be normal, and then the one in the background will sound like something electronic, chopped. You can do echoey, you can do a lot of different effects, and then blend them correctly. And then where they don't match, I can go into the file, open it, make it big, and cut out portions. And then instead of shrinking, where it screws up everything, it just becomes a silent portion of the track. I used to be a professional with Adobe Audition. Adobe Premiere is a little bit more challenging. So I'm having some troubles doing some super high-end editing stuff for you guys. Mr. Mafioso, Kilate, right? Yeah, E short or E40, Too Short, Tech 9. All those guys are cool. And again, like I said, I like rock and roll, man. Metallica, Slayer, Pantera. I like country too. Country roads take me home. And I like mixing them. Bubba Sparks, Adam Calhoun, all those dudes. So I honestly like good music if it's good music. So we're here on a fishing live stream chatting about rap and music. See, but that's why we're such a diverse, cool group of people here. We talk about a lot of different stuff. We got a cool little family here, Common Sense Fishing. So appreciate everybody who's watching. We're going to do, I think first what we're going to do, we got the music out the way, right? So we got to let you guys hear a couple of music songs I'm working about. Had a cool little conversation about our favorite rappers. I think we do like kind of segments, and we'll transition into something else, talk about that for a while, and move through the night, because we got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. So like I said, we got the top 10 biggest bass fishing myths. And it was a story that was put in Fisherman magazine in 2019. Thought it was a pretty cool one to share with you guys and gals. There's some information that's kind of like, well, duh. And then there's some information even I didn't know, where I'm like, hey, that's pretty good stuff to know right there. So we'll go over that tonight. But we need to do our giveaway as well. So we're going to do that here soon. We usually roll, like I said, from 6 to 9. So we got a little bit longer to hang out. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button when you get a chance. Thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. Again, I apologize how this whole thing started out. This is probably going to be one of them live streams where we don't get too many people on, because all my links on Facebook are all like to the old streams. People are going to be clicking them like, what the hell? This guy's lame. What the heck? And I posted in all kinds of different groups and forums, so I can't repost again. So it's like, well, we're stuck with whoever manages to stumble upon us tonight. So, I appreciate each and every one of you guys tonight. So hopefully we get more of my subs and more of the members on. But even if not, and we're hanging out with, I don't care, 5 or 6 or 10 or 20, it's the same thing. We're going to have a good time. So, but trying to stretch this out for you guys and gals a little bit, because I think the bass fishing, the 10 biggest myths, is really cool. I want to get into that. I don't know how long that's going to take. Might take like an hour, but I don't want to take too much of our time. That way we have time to talk and questions, topics, and do the stuff that we usually do the last half hour or so of the show, where we leave the floor open and we just BS with each other. So that's always a fun part of the show for those of you guys and gals. You got to do a country fishing song. I could do that, my brother. I could do that. Trust me. I could do a lot of different stuff. I tell you what. I know that I could do rap. I could do country. I could do rock. I could at least halfway, not bad, sound decent. I'm not, like I said, like a golden voice or anything. I'm more of a deep, if I choose, like, I got a deeper voice, so not a singer. I can't, pitch my voice all high, and I can't sing and crap. So, for me, it's always like a certain type of stuff I can do like decently vocals for, but other stuff I'd be like, I'm no Freddie Mercury, that's for sure. So, well, appreciate it, keeping it real. So I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for the new members who are here. We're gonna do, I think here soon in about 10-15 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and do the members raffle and get that out of the way for you guys. Yeah, and because that are not members, but the raffle that we did that's supporting the toy drive, for the little boys and girls for Christmas. So we're going to go out and do another round of shopping. And please believe that whenever you guys donate, say I work together and I work up and I get 200-300 bucks, when I go shopping, I spend 600. I always match, but I don't want to guarantee it because you never know if you might get a big donation or have a busy spell and then be broke or dealing with bills, and I may not really be able to match everything at that moment. But usually I do. So, like I said, we're going to go on another shopping spree here. I've got a video of me in one store. We're going to videotape us shopping throughout the year here in probably a month or two, put a little short video out of just ransacking stores for toys, kind of as a precursor to what we're going to be doing at the end of the year. So super excited. Like I said, last year we took care of 200 kids. Hopefully this year we'll take care of more. So that's one thing we do on the channel here. We take a pride in taking care of our community, literal around us, plus our internet community. We do giveaways. Always, I'm open to talk to people. If people message me, I always respond. I try to help out if people have ideas or they want tips or they want to talk. I'm always there chatting and hanging out with folks. So I pride myself on trying to help the community, and I'm not like somebody who's a super bad, you know, wizard at fishing or anything. I'm not a pro or a guide, but I've been fishing 30 years, and I just try to share what knowledge I do have. And then, like I said, when I'm doing okay and I have some extra stuff, then I think it's good. It's good for the community, good for the soul. It's good for oneself to give because it keeps you humble and it keeps. I think it's always good too to keep karma on your side. So when I get the chance, I like to give back. So that's the point here. So tonight, without further ado, let's go ahead and start our raffle for our spots. We had sold 25 spots, $10 a spot, so that generated $250. But we have a little over $100 reel here. We have like $60 in lures here. We have like $80 or so in lures here. We have something like about $250 worth of gear here. And what we're gonna do is we have a wheel of names. So we're gonna go ahead and pick a winner. We're gonna start with sorry guys and gals. All right, we might have a visitor come drop in and say hi for the night. So everybody, we might have a visitor. Bald Bull might drop in. That's the nickname we've given him lovingly, not in a mean sense. The saying we're laughing with you, not at you. Awesome dude, actually. So, but when you're a friend, when you get into that circle or even semi-friend, we rib each other. We don't hold back. We like to have a little fun. We're not overly mean, and if it ever hits that level of harassment, or if it really hurts your feelings, then you say something. I won't say it or mess around and push that limit. But when you're liked when you get messed with. You know what I'm saying? That's a sign. That's a sign you're part of the club. So we'll see if he comes over tonight. Uh-huh. All right. So We're going to have a visitor showing up here in a bit, I'm pretty sure. So, anyways, for the meantime, though, I'll get him somewhere to sit once he does show up and we'll move everything over. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start the raffle. So, you guys, I tried to do it earlier where you could see me still, and then you could see my screen. I've done it before, but for some reason we had a big old hiccup, and man, did it cause a buffoonery. So we're just going to do it this way. So what I do now is I usually will go ahead and record the video on my cell phone, and then at which point I will play it back for you guys to show you who the winner is. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn this off. So what we're going to do here is we have the wheel of names. So I'm going to call off who we have. So we have who bought tickets. We have Ewing Kennedy. We have Marco Houston. We have Danny Barbena. We have Junior NSBR Martinez. We have Joseph McBride. We have Racho Bunch. And we have Charles Chalk. And I have technically a spot as well because we actually only sold 24 of the 25 spots. And being a burnout that I called the giveaway and said it was closed, I'm just going to fork the $10 in for it. But I'm giving my spot is a free spin basically, and we just redo it if it lands on me. So you guys ready tonight? Let's start the raffle for the first prize that we're going to give away tonight. All right. For those who involved in the raffle, we got 4 Thunder Crickets, which is the Strike King chatterbait. Basically, those aren't cheap; those are solid lures. And then we have 3 Teckle Frogs. We have a whacker, a sprinkler, and another whacker. So the sprinkler has a boot tail, and it actually kicks up water like a whopper plopper. And you can walk it like walk the dog as well. And these are your traditional style frogs. So we have a total of 3 frogs and 4 bladed jigs or thunder crickets. So we're going to go ahead and do the spin to see who wins that first. So I'm going to pull out my recorder. We're going to hit record here. So I'm taking video. Let's click and spin and see. So here we go. Congratulations to whoever it is. Let's see who it is. Junior NSBR Martinez. You are the winner of the Thunder Crickets and Frog. So we're going to remove that spot now. Okay. All right. Now I'll share this with you guys. So let's let you guys see here. Click and spin and see. So here we go. Congratulations to whoever it is. Let's see who it is. Junior NSBR Martinez. So, you are the winner of the Thunder Crickets and Frog. There it is. So it's hard to see until the end there. It cleared up. But yeah, so Junior NSBR Martinez, we're going to let you know you won the frog. So I got to put that. So stay right there real quick. I'm going to write that on my board here so I don't lose that. That way we have our winners all. I was going crazy on the whiteboard, folks. I've got like an hour of footage I got to go through. I've been trying to give you guys some tips and tricks that are super legit. Like, yeah, and it's just, I went crazy giving too much info. All right. So that's one prize pack down. Oh, yeah. Let's put his stuff in a box over here. So here is Junior's Good stuff. Bam. So there's his stuff. All right, folks. Now let's do the next one. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing for 6 Dobbins jigs. Really nice, high quality Dobbins jigs, and they're 3/4 ounce. Then you've got a Spro 1/4 ounce, 2.5 inch. And my favorite, got a double digit on this, and so my buddy has a couple double digits on this. The Ish Monroe Biggie Papa River to Sea. Big shout out to Virgil. Virgil donated the reel, and he donated these lures. And big shout out to Jay Feber, who donated the frogs, the teckles, and the thunder crickets. So thank you to those two fellas. Awesome guys right there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and record and see who gets the lures. All right, folks, bear with me. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you very much. All right. So that time we had Joseph McBride.
Thanks for watching. Bear with me. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you very much. All right.
So we have Joseph McBride, 1. So we removed that spot. All right. So now, hey, how's it going? So Joseph McBride, you're the winner of the jigs, the swim bait, and the crankbait. Thank you very much for helping a good cause. Like I said, we took care of 200 kids last year for Christmas. This year, I'm hoping to smash that and take care of a lot more. So you see all these bikes, you see all the toys behind me. That is all because of you guys and gals, and we're just getting started. So I'm super excited. Now for the grand prize of tonight's raffle. And we're still got a lot of cool stuff to talk about tonight, so make sure you stick around. But this is just for the people who put $10 in on the raffle, where we had 25 spots, $10 a spot. And we did this to help out as a donation. So we're going to buy toys for kids and take care of kids for Christmas. So super stoked here. Let's see who wins this. Let's record that and get going. And then we can get back to chatting and have a good time, smashing some beers and, doing the dang thing. So here we go. Let's see who won. All right. Here we are. He really wanted that reel too. I'm glad that you got the reel, buddy. You deserved it. You spent 100 props. Shout out to Marco Houston. He spent $130 and bought up 13 of the spots himself. So we had 25 spots available, and we had guys pitching in 10, 20. We had guys pitching in 30. Well, this guy, he pitched in 130.
Here we are.
And
He really wanted that reel too. I'm glad that you got the reel, buddy. You deserved it.
Marco Houston. So good job, buddy. So we got to make sure. Hey, how's it going, James David? Howdy. How you doing? All right. So congratulations, Marco. You were the winner of the reel. Thank you guys for participating in the raffle. We're going to go ahead and donate all that. We're going to buy some toys, so we'll take you along. You guys will see a video coming out soon of me ransacking like Ross, Target, and Walmart, buying a bunch of bikes and buying a bunch of toys. So I've got one video already. I've got two more. So we've got a lot of cool stuff we're doing here. So that was for a good cause. I don't collect any of the money. I don't make any of the money for you guys and gals who are watching. What I do is I take care of poor kids for Christmas, and I start around May or June, and I sometimes even as late as or early as late April, and I start taking people on fishing trips, and then they donate money, or they can don't even have to donate money. They can donate unopened new toys. I take them on fishing trips, and then we donate those toys to kids in need. We document and record the whole thing. Last year, we took care of over 200 kids, and we made a video, dang near a movie, about an hour long called Fishmas 2020. And it's really hard to watch that without busting a tear out at one point in the video. At least there's a lot of heart, warming stories in that film. So it's pretty fun, pretty cool adventure. That's what we like, giving back to the community. So we hold giveaways here on the channel pretty regularly to say thank you to the subscribers, members, viewers, and the general community at large, to try to help what I can, a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there. Also, we just love having a good time, fun. I'm cracking beers and talking ish, and we just have a lot of fun here. So welcome to Common Sense Fishing. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe and like. For those of you who have been around, as always, you guys are the king and queens. You guys are awesome, and appreciate each and every one of you guys, honestly. So, you're why I do this. So I love these live streams. They're pretty much one of the funner things that I like to do. I get out there and fish, but this still allows me to connect with the community and still do videos when sometimes I can't get out on the water. And it's a whole different thing too. It's not like I'm just standing in front of the GoPro and just shooting video of catching fish and then saying, okay, I got this on that. Oh, out here having fun. See you on the next one. Or even if I try to give tips and tricks, doing it, from the top of your head while out fishing can be kind of tricky sometimes. Editing it can be kind of tricky, and it's hard to, I don't know. I think I'm going to do I do some of that, but I'm going to do more where we get out on the water and what I want to do is I do a whiteboard tips and tricks, and I want to kind of try to blend the two, where I do like a 2-minute section of where I talk about something and I explain it on the whiteboard, and then 2 minutes out on the lake showing you what I was talking about, and then actually catching a fish. Like, so the first minute, showing, well, when we're on the whiteboard, this is what I meant by this and that, and cast like this or do like that. And then, the last minute, catch an actual fish doing what you're saying. So if I have to go around beating the bank, throwing jigs all day to prove a point with a jig technique, that's what I got to do. Or if I'm trying to teach you how to square bill or crankbait, even if it's not the hot bite, if that's the video I'm trying to produce, then that's what I got to do. But the idea is, obviously I'm not stupid. So certain times a year, I know what lures generally do work best, so we'll try to make videos about those lures during those times of year so that it also helps you guys and gals out there fishing. So it's like real-time advice. And then you can watch this stuff years later and maybe pick some value out of it. But the live streams are more meant for us to have a good time, chat, and cover a wide range of subjects. So you guys know the drill. Those of you who are used to the show, thank you guys again. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Oh, I love you so much. That's my son right there. I love that dude more than anything in the world. I do everything for my family. And that's my little bro. That's my little boy right there. So everybody say hi to back to JDC. That's my ex-wife's account right there. So her name's Janelle, cool woman. But Jonathan, that's my son right there. And goodness, I'm so proud of that boy. So I'm proud of you, boy. I miss you so much. And just happy to see you on here tonight. I'm super stoked. That was a pleasant surprise. So we're out here having a good time. And look at internet land. There goes my son in Oklahoma popping up. Isn't it like 9:30 over there? I'm glad mom's letting you hang out and watch me. Tell her I said thank you. So appreciate it. And then I got my good buddy MP over here calling me too. Goodness, I'm gonna have like a 14-way conversation here. We got my son on here. I'm all stoked to see him. I love you, buddy. I'm super happy to see you. I hope you've been having fun over there. Can't wait to see you. And then I got MP on the phone. Mikey, no, it's all right. Don't worry. We got my you're on the live stream right now too. You hear me? I'm doing the live stream. I'm gonna put you on speakerphone, all right? All right, well then I'll call you later. All right? All right, buddy. All right, bye. That's a good buddy of mine, but he can't hold his mouth. He's like, I don't want to be on live stream. He'll go too crazy. He don't know how to hold his tongue. He's a good friend of mine though. But so super stoked and don't worry about it, Marco. So I'm just super stoked to see my son hanging out on the live stream tonight. So that's pretty cool. Got to make sure I have to keep it extra PG-14. Actually, he's my son. He's seen me go nuts. So you see when I get mad. He's like, oh yeah, don't piss dad off. Not really though. I treat all my kids super awesome. I love my kids. I don't know. It's hard to put it in words. If you don't have kids, then you know. But if you do, you know what I'm saying. So, anyways, back to fishing. So I'm glad to see you here tonight, Johnny. Hopefully, you hang out and watch us for a while. So, other than that, we're going to. We did our giveaway. So let's close that out now. So we had a raffle tonight. We played the three music videos, or we played two of the three music videos that I was working on. So let's see here. I'm closing some programs right now, folks. Sorry. All right. And then we got 10 biggest bass fishing myths to cover tonight. So I think there's some pretty good information in here. I wanted to share it with you guys and gals, get your guys' opinion on it and see what you think. Oh, and we got a visitor here. I feel like Mr. Rogers in the neighborhood. Instead of having there's going to be Okay, give me a second, buddy. Let me get my buddy here. We got a visitor here for tonight's show. Come here or what? Oh God, he can't do the house. Yes, dude. Let me get the chair for you. Ah, shush. That's what I was getting rid of. I'm going to get you a high chair. Here, hold this. Actually, my son's on here. Yeah. I kept trying to get it one light of feed. Said, let it know you. Said, you had 15 minutes. And there's another light. And there's another one. Like, wait a second. We had like 3 live streams going. Hey, dude. Shit, man. See if we can get you.
I'm scared, bro.
You gotta be able to be in the view of the camera. All right, folks. I'm coming. I'm headed back in there. We got this all going on. Where's your 13 beers? Ah, I knew you'd have one. Pulling beer out your pocket. Look at this guy. Goodness. We got to find somewhere to sit you. You are short enough you probably could stand up.
I'm only 5'4", bro.
Yeah, he's not trying to be mean, but
I stand behind you, watch.
oh yeah. If you stand, you got to just stand right over here. Yeah, yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Let me stand next to you, though. Hold on, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Welcome to Common Sense Fishing, everybody.
No, that's not Mark, buddy. Common Sense Fishing, you know the whole thing. Did the train drop him off? You know, you hear it. me going off in the background. So how you doing, buddy? This is Anthony actually here.
How's it going, everybody?
Yep. We on? Can you can't read the live stream from that far, huh?
No.
Yeah, I'll read it out to you if we get any comments. I'll read it out to you. But this guy used to catch some big bass back in the days. Now he can't catch shit but a buzz, right?
That's about it.
Ah, man, I tell you what, we gotta put you on them. You can catch them still, just have the worst luck. I think you get too bent.
I should start drinking at 3 a.m. That was my problem last
Yeah,
year.
exactly. Well, on 100-degree day, bro. I mean, if you do it on like a 75-degree day, you might be all right.
That was fun, though.
Nah, yeah, Johnny. So my son, I think my son thinks this is my cousin Mark. So we got a cousin named Mark. Mark drinks a lot of beer. Mike drinks a lot of beer. Mike was the one who called me on my cell phone. MP, Mike Podolsky, one of my best buddies. He's actually super cool. That's Mike. You know Mike. Oh, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin's little brother. Hell yeah, it's his older little brother. This that we got, his name is what we got to call you? Ball Bull. Then we're just gonna go with that. He'll be the fighter from beat him up. Oh man. So, anyways, this guy though, what do you catch all your big fish on back in the days when you
Back in the day when I used to catch them was all on swim baits, jigs, or topwater.
So, where you catch all your big fish out of, brother?
My personal best come out of Las Vegas. It was a 13 even on a HUD out of 48 foot of water.
Los Banos Creek Reservoir, right?
Yes, sir. Dragging it on the bottom uphill.
That's a great little spot. I know about that place. Let's ask you a question for bonus points here. Do you know what is by the ranger station hidden, like a secret gem?
Oh yeah, there's a little hole there that's got some big fish in it.
There's a pond down the spillway. You can walk down the spillway. If you drive all the way up to the top of the Los Banos Reservoir and you park, you walk down, right? And you walk down the spillway and you get to the bottom, it goes right into the pond, the spillway. No matter what the pond level is, the spillway goes right into it. And the pond is always at a certain level because it's like it stays the same all year round. And it's got monsters.
Unless they're flooding in it.
Yeah, if they're flooding it, it gets higher. But even then, like, you don't want to be on the spillway if that happens. So like, don't go up there if the lake's super full like that, where they might have to overflow off the spillway.
One of my buddies I used to fish with back in the day caught a 16.5 off the dam, bouncing HUDs off the rocks.
Over at Los Banos Creek Reservoir? All right. What do you got out of Pedro?
My biggest out of Pedro is a 1092.
And what was it on?
On an S-Waver. And then I got an 11.8 in January in 40-degree water.
Yeah.
At 7 o'clock at night, January 9th of 2009 with Dennis Wainwright. That was an 11.8 on an S-Waver.
Oh, yeah? What about McClure?
30 foot of water. Yeah, McClure, 11.8.
Okay, that's
S-Waver, January 9th.
All right. So what big fish you catch on the jig?
I caught a 12.89 out of Eastman.
Okay.
And then again with Dennis Wainwright,
on an MS Slammer up in New Maloney's. I caught a 12.97 up there.
All right. So you got some double digits, right?
Right.
Now, what do you get them mostly on?
Jigs and swim baits.
Moving target
Yep.
baits, right? All right. Yeah. You can get them on like smaller baits, drop shots, and worms too.
For the longest time, my personal
that's
best.
one of the best ways to get them, actually, if you know where they're at and they want to bite.
My personal best for a long time come out of a rock quarry down in Fresno on a teeny weeny brush hog. They're like 3.5 inches long and 4-pound test and a split shot. It was 11.75, and it got wrapped around a tree. I had to jump in the pond and swim out and get it untangled. My buddy kept telling me it was a carp, and I swam out there and I cut the line with my teeth and I held it up. I said, "Does that look like a carp to you?" And that thing its tail was like down by my knee.
I'm playing with the size. I'm like, I'm almost as tall as you sitting down.
Shut up,
Yeah, gotta have fun, buddy. Oh goodness, I'm dirty though. Look, I was working earlier, so this is my work shirt right here. So I got to get my name and logo put on the front. But first, like test run work shirts that we're making for the company. So super stoked to be wearing it. So,
and if you guys get a chance, last time I was here, you guys got to buy this beer. This beer is bomb. It's expensive as hell, but it's good.
Oh, they know. Who was the one that had some of it? He knows what's up. I think it was Danny, or was it Keeping It Real? Somebody, or no, Danny's Kitchen, I think, had it before I turned him onto it. Yeah, if you guys, I'm not trying to condone the use of alcohol, but if you get a chance to try this brand, any of their 4 flavors, actually, I think they make more than 4 now. They're super good, dude. Super good. So we have a visitor tonight. He's stuck standing up for now. So,
That's all right.
He don't mind, I guess. But, we'll talk fishing and have fun. We're going to go over 10 bass, the biggest bass myths tonight. But if we've got somebody to chat, maybe we can argue about something and give these guys something to laugh about, huh? So,
well, back in the day, people used to swear by a spinnerbait and a Texas rig rubber worm to be the biggest or the best lures for catching the biggest bass of all time. But
Texas rig.
In 2003, when I got introduced to swim baits, all that went right out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. I still don't throw swim baits like that. I'm a swim bait wussy. I don't throw them yet. I mean, I do a little bit. I'll give you guys a true story. You guys want to hear a funny story? So don't worry about it, Johnny. I know you weren't able to. And I don't think I did a video on the 4th of July. I think I did one right before it. But I did maybe a test one when I got my mic. So I don't remember if you were talking about that day or not. But anyways, what we were saying again? Swim bait. Funny swim bait story. So I don't swim bait fish a lot, and I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons why is I just throw it and I don't get bit on it that much. Or when I do, the few fish that I did catch were like 2 and 3 pounders, right? Instead of the 10s and 12s. So there's one time though, I'm at Don Pedro out in the back towards Rogers Creek. And I'm by Solomon's Mine, by the slalom course or whatever that's back there, or, and the lake's full. And basically, I was trolling a swim bait while eating a sandwich. And I don't remember what time of year it was, but I was putting along pretty slow. And I had this thing out behind me in probably 10 feet of water. It was over 40, 50 feet of water, and it was probably 10 feet deep. Just putting real slow, and I had this big swim bait behind me following me, and I just got crushed, right? Boom! So I hook it, I stop the engine, I throw it in reverse a little bit, and then neutral. I just get up and I start reeling. I fight this fish for a minute, and then all of a sudden it stops. Boom! And I'm like, what? And I could feel it on, and then I can't pull it, and it stops. So I take my boat and I get over it. And I'm in a big giant tree. I'm about 4 feet down, 5 feet down on a crystal clear day. And there's about a 14-pounder with my swim bait in its mouth, wrapped around a tree limb, just shaking violently. And I'm just like, I contemplated jumping in there for that thing, and right as I was about to, it shook it got off, um, or what it did was is I because it had the swim bait in its mouth, so it didn't like get off the hook. Whatever was binding the stuff on the tree limb where it wouldn't pull anymore got loose, and the fish just went on a dive, and like I just couldn't like it was wrapped around the branch and the branch was pretty big and I was fishing it with braid and I couldn't pull the fish up anymore. I could feel if I gave it slack, I could feel the fish pull me more, and then when I would try to pull and get it back, the braid would just dig into the tree, and it was crazy. I couldn't never get the fish out. I was gonna swim down for it, but honestly I chickened out, and eventually ended up breaking off. I lost the swim bait, the fish, everything, but I could see it clear as day from about 4 or 5 feet above in a monster tree that was out there in the back. And I didn't know the tree was there, and I drove right over it. And it was a good, maybe not probably 5 to 7 feet down, but it was crystal clean water at the time. And I was using a swim bait, went right over it. Well, the fish ate my swim bait on the back end of the tree, and I fought it, pulled it right into the tree, and the rest was history. So that's really the only time I've ever had a big fish on with a swim bait. I've had bad luck with swim baits.
That one is out of Eastman on a spinnerbait in December, and it was 11-2.
Oh, here we go. There's a big girl, right? So, yeah, looks like
don't be afraid to fish at night, guys.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And don't be afraid to fish shallow even during the winter.
Yeah, well, fishing shallow at
Here's
night.
another one. Here's a 10-8 out of Eastman the exact same night. Those came on back-to-back casts.
So, there you go.
On a 3/4 ounce white champion spinnerbait, kicking it off the rocks.
Hey, baby. So we're having fun. We're chatting about big fish and stuff. But yeah, you got to be if you want to get big fish, the quickest way to put big fish in your hands, if you don't have them under your belt yet, is to fish at night. And to fish with bigger, faster, or meaner lures. Don't fish don't fish as much bottom bouncing stuff. But if you do, just fish it right. Fish it efficiently. Like my buddy Danny, he got one on a drop shot, but fishing it correctly. So at night, just remember where the fish move. Fish like docks, structure, drop offs, fish shallow
rock
to
piles.
About 20 feet deep. Yeah, rock piles. Excuse me. And then don't sleep. Sometimes they will go deep, but most of the time they are in the 20-foot and up range. Even more so, like say 10, 15 feet and shallower. But they have, we do see them in 20, 25 feet and even deeper at night on the fish finder, on live scope, when I fish with my buddy with live scope. So, and just, like we know, me and my buddy have fished from shore and caught them out of like 50 feet of water before at night. So they go deep too, but stay shallow basically.
I've been up in McClure fishing from the bank when I didn't have a boat, throwing topwater out as far as I can over probably 100 foot of water.
Yeah.
And catch some fish on the end of the cast. That weighs 6, 7, 8 pounds, 9 pounds.
Yeah.
They're all over. It just depends.
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes in McClure, we used to throw big old 6 to 10-inch worms. So we'd start with a 6 would be our smallest we would use. And then we would, usually use an 8 or a 10, sometimes up to like a 12. And we'd go out there and just Texas rig, like a 1/4 ounce or something, with a spinning rod that we could cast a mile and cast way out into about 100 feet of water. And then we would pull that thing up. And we've been known to get, 5+ pound fish in 80 feet of water out there at McClure. And sometimes in the winter, sometimes in the summer. But usually, in the wintertime for me, they've been really deep. And then in the summertime, they're really shallow. However, there will always be fish shallow. So even in the wintertime, there will be fish that are in shallow water. And they'll always be fish deep too. So even in the middle of summer and even in spawn, there's going to be fish in 50, 60 feet of water. So there'll be fish all over the place. But the goal, your idea or your goal is to try to find the bigger fish and or the more numbers of decent fish, right? If you're tournament fishing, fun fishing, you're out there trying to be a YouTube star and out trying to have fun and catch fish.
That picture probably won't show up on camera.
Yeah, probably not.
This one because it's in black and white. That's me and Don Mormon. We're holding 6 bass for 72 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's 2005 Los Banos Creek Reservoir on HUDs.
Don Mormon and him, 6 bass for 70 pounds.
Yes.
So that's like a bunch of 12-pounders basically, or one even bigger.
And the day before, my personal best on a HUD, and I was 296 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and hold that up to the camera so you can see it.
Yeah.
Back here, it's blurry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I took one of your beers.
Oh, you little fucking thief. Look at this guy. He stole a $5 beer right now. Now I'm for sure calling you Bald Bull. That's your damn nickname forever now. You got you. I better hide my beer from you. See? I said, come on over, be a guest on my live stream. Sure, come hang out. We got an hour and a half to go, buddy. You better enjoy that beer. Duff beer for life. Oh, yeah. You remember, Johnny, when we went to Universal Studios and I bought the Duff beer there? So we got 2 of them. I got one that's still never opened, and it's up in the cabinet. And then one I opened and drank there. It's just an orange energy drink, I think. Hello, looks like we got a new person in tonight. Sub to me and get me to 1K with 8 videos. Whatever you say. No, honestly, I'm a big believer in supporting other YouTubers, supporting content. And honestly, I think that in the end of the day, that good content will win out and be the more popular channels. But I still support people, even if like they get monetized and they never grow past a few thousand. Even if that's me, and I end up never getting past 5 or 10,000 or some whatever number, I'm happy with that because I like doing this. It's a fun outlet. It's a way to leave videos for my kids and loved ones to watch when I'm gone. It's a legacy. It's a way of helping the community, giving back to those who may not be as good at fishing. So I love doing this. I don't get paid. Like I said, when I do, I get paid like $80 a month right now to be on YouTube. So I would have to increase my subscribers. To make $800 a month, we'd have to 10 times more. So 10,000 subs. Then to get 8,000 a month, I'd probably have to be at 100,000 subs or more, right? So your income does go up the more subs and ad revenue you get, this and that, blah blah. But that's not why I do this. I do hope to be successful, yes, and I do want to be and plan to be successful, yes. But my drive and ambition and why I do this is the love of it. And I think that's like when you do something in life, if you do what you love and you're passionate about, you're going to be successful at it or at least good at it. So there goes my little. When's the next tournament?
There's a 12-8 my buddy caught from the bank out of a dirt canal out by Gustine on a frog.
Who's that?
My buddy Sean McKinney. He makes catnip bait.
Oh, yeah. I've got some Mondos. Sal Martinez has got one like this, too.
That's a 12-8 out of a dirt canal, people out in Gustine.
Yeah, out of the canals, folks.
Yeah.
So I've got a canal, true story, I've got a canal by my house, right? That's not that far away. And I throw square bills. Oh, yeah. Lucky he hooked it. You can tell only one hook's in there. So I've lucky that didn't just pop out the mouth, on the hook set. So, yeah. Who is Bijan? Bijan's an awesome dude who's makes jigs, and I buy his jigs, and they catch double digits. Unless you're Bijan in disguise. Clever marketing trick, Mr. Bijan. But yeah, cool dude. He's got he makes jigs. He's who I buy my jigs from. So there's a lot of like famous jig makers out there, but B's the guy I go to. It is close. But yeah, Bijan's cool dude. So I like buying his jigs, and I support the guy for sure. So if you guys get a chance, if you guys get on Facebook, reach out to Bijan Bumblebee Jigs. He's a good dude to get jigs off of, fair price, and he makes quality jigs. So my personal favorites for the area are they're like stinger jigs. They got no weed guards, so they're just straight hook. And he makes quality painted heads, and the skirts are pretty quality matched. Color patterns are good. I like how they're trimmed. They're the right size. I prefer the 3/8 over the ½ ounce myself. I like a lighter weight jig, but we're all different. Sometimes I go to the ½ ounce. That's what he makes mostly. But any must-have baits or color you need? No, not really. A wide arrangement of them. I would say colors would be realistic colors like green pumpkins, greens and browns, shad patterns like silvers and whites, colors. Your natural colors. And then if we're going to be night fishing, blacks, blues, June bugs, black and red, black and blue, purple, PB&J, stuff like that. That's my favorite nighttime stuff.
Your fan just quit working for some reason.
Yeah, it's a mini split. It's reached temperature, so it's chill.
Okay.
I could turn it back on and make it colder. Are you all right?
There's an 11.8 Adam McClure on the S-Waver that I caught with Dennis Wainwright.
Yep. See, this Oompa Loompa really does catch big fish.
That was January 9th of 2009, 7:30 at night, and 40-degree water on an S-Waver.
Oh, I believe it. You big bass catching bastard, you. Last times we went out, though, you caught a big-ass buzz.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Here's a 9.3 out of
nice. Yeah.
Right at dusk.
Then you keep it up. You're going to be a good fisherman, or you already are a good fisherman, you know?
On a shaky head and a 6-inch Cinco.
Yep.
And like 4 feet of water.
He's got a lot of big fish. I've got a shit ton, too, but I think I don't got as many double digits. I got only like 4 of them I can show.
Oh, I got 42.
Yeah, I don't got that many double digits, but I got a shit ton of 8s and 9s, though. Good topwater day out at the lake, huh? Terrible. So super excited. I've got my 2 GoPros, you know that. So expect your 8 soon, brother. Here's my 2 9s. So I got my 2 9s. I'm ready to rock and roll.
I brought all my bass fishing shit in case you decide to go tonight.
Yeah, right. Nah, not tonight. I'm getting ready for work. I got a bunch of work I got to do. Yeah. I once got a fishing kit from a tournament. Don't know what happened to it. You still have it, buddy. You have there's one right here in the closet, and then the reel that you won. You actually won like a $200 fishing reel that it's still on one of my poles right now. And that's every time that I take you fishing, I let you use it. It's the best spinning reel I have. So it's not on the best rod, but it's on a good rod. And that's what you get all your fish out of Kelsey on, buddy. I am B Son. Love your channel. Well, I'm glad you do. I'm appreciated very much. Thank you for watching. Bijan's a good dude, so I know you're going to grow up or be a great fisherman when you get older, regardless of how old you are right now. I'm just saying, like if you're a teenager or younger or whatever, when you get bigger or when you grow up, get your dad's age, you're going to be good at fishing. You probably already are. I've seen pictures where I think you've been sticking them, so good job out there. Your dad makes great jigs. So super supportive of you guys. So I appreciate your support. Welcome to the channel. So we do these live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have a lot of fun. We talk all kinds of stuff. So here tonight I've got Mr. We're gonna call him Bald Bull, but his name is Anthony. He's gonna live that down all night tonight now since he jacked one of my beers. He did it smooth too, so I gotta just let him have it. No point in whining now, right?
Hey, look at that. This fish looked like he crashed into the wall and smashed his upper jaw in.
Oh yeah, I've seen him like that. Midget nose.
Upper lips all the way to the eyeballs for no reason.
Yep.
The bass looks like he's got Down syndrome.
That's a deformed bass, yep. Yeah. Mama and Daddy were related.
Something.
Same brood. Got my Shimano Sensolite rod today to go on my BFS Zephyr.
But that's how much it weighed.
Oh, yeah. 3.6. There you go. Whoa. You better put a little protector on your phone there, buddy.
Get me a case.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get a phone condom or whatever they're called. Phone protector. Look, see, like I got. You just drop it. It don't matter, whatever. Rubber. How you guys doing tonight, folks? Hope you guys don't mind having a visitor tonight. I hope it helps the show, having somebody to chat with, and now I guess somebody to make fun of. Ha! No, I'm just kidding. This guy's cool though, dude. He's caught a lot of good fish. Just because I'm
standing up and he's sitting down, we're almost the same height.
Yep, exactly. See, if you get mad enough, you can just punch me right in the face. We're seeing eye to eye right now almost. Until hold on. If I do this.
I got so many freaking pictures.
Now I'm sitting at a regular height.
Yeah, there we go.
Till we stand up, and then it's like, how you doing, buddy? You're as big as like my titty. Look at that. Oh, folks, we're having too much fun. Oh, you discovered your power of live streaming. Yes, I have. Have fun. We do live streaming now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have a good time. And, the live streams are wild. We cover all kinds of crap. We talk about all kinds of stuff. It's not monetized, so sometimes we curse on here. I try not to, but, the F-bombs get dropped occasionally. Not consistently at all. I try to keep it pretty clean, family-friendly. I know we got a lot of kids that watch here and there. So, we try to keep it pretty on board, but for those of you who know what's up, you know what's up.
Yeah. And I don't come into the live stream too much because I have no filter. I say what's on my mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we gotta watch what this fool says.
Even if I'm not drinking,
have to tackle his ass and just be like, "Shut up!"
Even if I'm not drinking, I have no filter because I really don't care what people think about me.
I don't much have a filter, but I think I'm a decent enough person to where, like, even when I do spew what I feel, it doesn't really upset people. I don't know. Or if it does, it might upset a few people, but it's not usually like a large swath of people. Yeah, I don't know. It's because usually I think most of I don't know. A lot of people will see things differently. I guess you'd say I'm kind of middle of the road because I've been through so much crap in life. I can feel like the poor this person, I could feel the wealthy, I could feel like a lot of different people's situations in life, so I'm not too judgmental, But I mean, I have my opinion too, and I'll spit my piece, and it is what it is. But I'm pretty nonchalant, so I try not to like offend. But if it offends, at the end of the day, whatever.
Yeah, oh well.
Exactly. There's a roundabout nice way of saying it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Like, I'm not going to mention no names because I've been in the fishing world for a long time.
Yes.
But there's guys.
Don't mention no names.
I'm not going to mention no names, but there's guys I talk to fish.
You talk to fish?
I taught them to fish.
Oh, you taught them to fish.
I taught them.
This guy claims to talk to fish, folks. We also have Aquaman as well as Bald Bull. We got a 2-for-1, folks.
But anyhow, when they were struggling and I had a boat and I was working, I helped them out. Now I'm struggling and they got boats. And there's 5 or 6 guys that are guides now. They want to charge me full price to take me fishing, and I used to take them fishing for nothing back in the day when they were struggling.
Well, I'm going to address that, boss. I'll tell you how I feel about all that shit. Is that Nobody owes you something because you did something for them. So, for example, and I'm not trying to be negative towards
Well, no,
you, but I'm
I
going to
get
say, all right, so hold on. Let me say my piece
Just
so
return
they
the
can
favor.
hear it too. No, you don't have to. So, when I do something good for you, I don't give a shit if you return the favor. I genuinely did something because I feel that's the right thing to do, right? So, if I take you fishing, right, and I take you on a bunch of trips and we go fishing, and I did it because honestly, I wanted to just have some company or I'm just being nice, okay, right? And then flip the script, and now I'd like to go fishing with you, and you have a boat. That doesn't make you obligated to take me. And if you don't, I might be like a little bit like, oh man, that sucks. But to me, all that does is show the true character of somebody. Then, right? And then if somebody's really like that, that doesn't make them because again, they're not obligated.
No, it don't make him a bad
so
person.
it doesn't
100%.
exactly. So to me, I just you live and you learn, and then you learn. Again, if you're going to do something nice, you don't necessarily do it in the aspects or auspices that they're going to do something kind for you in return. So, but you know what I mean? I know where you're coming from, where it sucks when you do stuff for people, and then when
I did
the
it
tables,
for years for certain people, though.
because I could say the same thing. Let's put it all out there right now. The second I killed that 10-pounder at Lake Don Pedro, about a third of my people that were like good friends disappeared like magic. And it coincided with two things. My Kelsey membership stopped, and I killed a 10-pounder. And because of that, I've got specific people that don't tag me, they don't talk to me, they don't message me, they don't do squat. That I've been there for all kinds of stuff for them. I got people that like I said, I've known for 20, 30 years too, that sometimes they just don't ever message me. And to be honest, I don't message them much unless, because we start forgetting. But I don't hold any of that stuff against people. Like, for example, in certain instances, I still actually like a lot of these people, and I'm okay. Like, I'd still be okay to hang out with them. It's just whatever, right? But then there are certain people or instances like the dudes that are harassing or jumping you, just like they followed every post I was putting out there, making fun of me killing a 10-pounder. There gets a point where it becomes like harassment. And that's where that kind of stuff, it gets old. I cut that stuff out of my life. I just block people or don't deal with that kind of stuff.
It's not his fault she choked that treble hook down her gillet and her throat.
No, I did kill that bass in the sense that the fight probably half killed it, but B, me keeping it, and yes, I tried to refresh the water and do all kinds of crap for that fish. I did not just let that fish die. I did everything I could, but I still did dumb decisions. Now I have 2 scales in my boat, and unfortunately I had to make a stupid ass, a mistake for me to learn from that. But it is what it is. I think a real man makes their mistakes and they own up to them. So that's how I do it on this page, and that's why I tell anybody honestly to their face, to whatever. That's why I'm telling you, like, I understand where you're coming from, but you can't hold a grudge on that stuff, and you can't let that eat you up inside, because it's not going to get you nowhere. You feel what I'm saying, though?
No, I get
you
it.
can feel the way you do, but like I think
I was just putting it out there. If somebody does something for you, you don't necessarily have to expect anything back from them.
But it helps sometimes to scratch someone's back.
If you get put in their situation and they become successful, and you say, "Hey, man, I'm kind of down in the dumps. Can you take me fishing?" And they look at you and say, "No, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. You never did this. You never." It pisses me off, man. That's all I'm saying.
To me, it's not like it pissed me off. It'd make me, what would you say, a little disappointed. Right. Or I would say I would hope better of somebody. Like if I took them fishing, showed them all this love, and then they didn't reciprocate it, that's life. And it's like, well, that sucks, but I'm not going to hold a grudge. When I hold grudges, or what pisses me off, is like when people are just super negative or clingy and attacking and attachy. Or I've had a buddy, I'm not going to name names, that I paid like good money to do something for me, and it was my idea, never had been done before, my idea, right? And I tell this guy, I'm going to pay you to do my idea, but I don't have the skill to do it. You do. but it's my idea and I want you to do it. And he did it, and it came out epic. And he sold it to his dad for double the price that thought he was going to sell it to me for, because it was so cool. But it was my intellectual property, my idea, and then tried to sell me a reprint, like as if like he could just make a copy of it. So I was pretty pissed. And then after that, proceeded to talk stuff about my wife, about sleeping with, or about all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Saying all kinds of dumb things. Not like he did sleep, but I should have, or like back in the days when we were in high school, I should have been with, I should have done this, or oh, you're this, just going all belligerent, right? So those kind of people, I cut out like cancer. You just take bad people, and what you do is you remove them from your life. And so, not that you need to fight with them, just be done with it. Clean your soul, clean yourself, because you need to be able to worry and take care of yourself before you can take care of other people, right? So that's where the utmost, in my opinion, it all boils down to taking care of yourself before you take care of everyone else. So anyways, let's read some wait, your membership is gone. Dang, are going to get it back. So yep. But wait, your membership is gone. We got memberships here. There is a super negative line. Oh, what's up, terrible? Oh yeah, there is a super negative line. Yeah. We don't want too negative, right? We got to stay positive, stay happy, keep it cool. That's kind of my vibe, and I just like so. What I do is I excise the drama from my life, right? Now, sometimes you can't excise it all, and then there's some people that are good people that have drama happen, and you need to be there as their friends, stuff like that. But life's a complicated situation, so I like to roll with it, because I think the more stressed out you get, you're going to give yourself a heart attack,
And this is only the third time me and Sam hung out. The first time we hung out, oh no, this is actually the fourth time.
Yeah.
I met you with somebody out of Kelsey. Me and you went out on your boat for a little while. You tried your what the hell was it called? I can't remember what it's called. But anyhow, and I was throwing my swim
fly bait. Or the dead stick.
No, the little metal piece
blade bait.
Yeah, blade bait.
And I was killing it when I
missed one, and you threw it over right behind me, and you caught it.
Yeah, I was killing it that day. I think I caught like 33 to 4
Next time
fish.
Sam and I hang out, it's me, him, and our buddy Jeremy. We went to Don Pedro.
Oh, yeah. We have a great
video. He goes, I'm going to pick you up at 4 o'clock. Well, everybody who knows me, I like to drink. I woke up at 3 o'clock. I started pounding beers. I had coffee. I had sausage breakfast burritos. I did all that. I'm waiting. Finally, 5 o'clock. This
I
shows up.
I told you I'm always fashionably late.
When you get to Chevron, they pay for the gas. I buy the beer, I buy the ice, and I pay the gate entry. We go fishing. And that day was super friggin' hot. He took a video. I didn't realize
it's called the funniest fishing trip ever. Do you know how many views our video has?
Jeremy lost his phone. I stripped down to my boxers and dove off the back of the boat over the top of the motor, and never realized he was recording the whole time he did all that. But the hamburgers and the food at Don Pedro,
we had a good time.
That shit's the bomb, man.
Oh yeah, we caught a ton. I caught a ton of fish. I caught a ton of fish on that video. Yeah, I caught like 20 fish on that video. Yeah. Jeremy gets like 3. You didn't get any.
Yeah, I was food barred before we even got to the lake.
Oh, dude, that was one hell of a trip. You know how many views that thing has? Check it out.
I can't bring it up on my phone no more.
That is my second most viewed video of all time, I think. Watch this. Second or third. Let's go check it out. We're checking something out real quick, folks. So let's go to our. All right, and let's go to. Let's go to. Yes, it is. Yeah, my second.
Number 2.
It's got almost 9,000 views, bro.
Yeah.
Oh shit! This video is so hilarious. Well, let's watch it just to watch. We're gonna reminisce and watch. We're gonna watch a few minutes of of all of us out at Lake Don Pedro
Meet
having
Google
fun.
Fi, a phone plan.
Terrible at fishing. Good job helping 5 people catch fish today. I love helping people catch fish. It's so awesome.
You always get nationwide
So,
5G.
Let's fast forward to the funny part. These guys can hear it.
jerk bait.
You don't even have to watch it, just listen.
No, Largy.
And I'll narrate.
Right in the chomper.
So my buddy bends over with his ass in my face, and I joke about shoving him in the water. And then he talks about falling asleep.
Yes, you fell asleep. You only slept for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, 20 seconds.
Oh, 20 seconds?
Only 20 seconds is all he slept. I got him on video. Here he is. Look at him. He's knocked out. You're singing because I got high.
Yeah.
Now look at you.
Watching Common Sense Fishing. We're out here at Don Pedro.
Watch this. We're laughing.
Great time.
Oh, yeah, I'm wrapped up underneath the stool. I'm done. That was after lunch. Look how sunburned my head and shoulders were.
Yeah, dude. Look at you. You ain't waking up right there.
Hell no,
You was
bro.
out right
I
there.
was done. I started drinking at 3 o'clock in the morning.
But I'm retarded. We got Jeremy out there looking like. So if you guys haven't got a chance, it's already at almost 9,000 views. It's called the funniest fishing video ever. So it's pretty hilarious.
Look at that.
Wait till Jeremy falls overboard. The laugh that I make is hysterical.
Look how these two guys are fishing, folks.
You're not gonna catch shit like that. Y'all were just sitting there getting drunk and hammered. I'm all up there fishing, catching
I want
fish.
to go eat a burger.
I want to go eat a burger. This is why I sat on your head.
We had fun though, didn't we?
Hell yeah, I sat on your head, bro.
I sat on your head, bro. Don't hook me now, dude. I'm on your hair.
Throwing this big ass swim bait.
Straight down on the bed. I didn't mean to, but I did.
Oh, that was too much fun. This is what happens when you take dudes like this fishing. Don't do it all the time. Yeah, you only want to do it every once in a while. You have a big fun trip. You could sink your boat or blow something up. And you want to try to catch fish every once in a while. You don't have too much fun.
Too much fun.
Here's where Jeremy goes in the water. Watch. I love it. Listen to my laugh. This is a genuine laugh right here, like hysterical laugh.
Where by the houseboats we filming? Yeah, right there. Like this, where he actually went in. And he's like, oh, fuck, where's my
Listen.
boat?
How you doing?
How you doing?
And I'm passed down again underneath
Yeah,
the
look
seat
at
back.
you. Well, look at your foot, dude. Looks like it's broken and twisted sideways.
I got it on
Watch.
camera. I got like the last half of it.
Look at you. You're hiding underneath the chair, bro.
We got one, dude.
I'm like, damn, this
Oh,
shit is rough, bro.
Damn. We had way too much fun, folks. So, anyways,
Don't do that shit all the time, man. That's dangerous drinking out in the heat like that. But you got to do it once in a while.
Not me. I had a good time. I had a nice buzz. I was cool. I got food. And I sobered up. I was catching fish the whole time. You guys were back there like waiting for me to put you on like the magical bite or find the magical spot. But instead, I would just catch like a fish every half hour.
Yeah.
And you guys were just back there like tired, burning in the sun and miserable and drunk out your gourds.
Oh, I woke up the next day, man. I had blisters all across my shoulders,
Oh, this
down my
guy.
arms. Yeah, that was some bad shit.
So we had
Recyclables, bro.
too much fun. I'll just put them over here. I can keep them. You know me, my cheap ass recycles. You see those two? I got 2 buckets of copper right there too. I do heating in there. You know, I save
no.
every little copper piece. I set.
You got any beer out there I can have?
Nope,
I would like one more.
I don't. This is it. You're gonna have to get yourself another one. You got another Coors in your truck?
Nope.
Damn, sucker.
That was
You
my
better
last
go to
one.
the store and buy yourself some then.
I ain't got no money.
Oh man, doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
I don't have cash, or else I'd give you a couple bucks to go get some.
Yeah, I ain't got shit, bro. Oh,
Yeah.
that's my boot sleeve.
Think of 2 broke jokes opening our wallets with no money in it. Nope. See, there's no money in my wallet either. I got a check. I got a deposit, but so let's see. What do we got? My boy saying. So Johnny, yeah, them sour gummy bears give him superpowers. Almost every time I go with him fishing, he has one. Oh yeah, yeah. My boy knows me. When I go fishing, I always take a pack of sour gummy bears, the Haribo. I'm always that's like my sugar, my get me go. Like whenever I'm having an insulin attack or something out there, or whenever I'm too tired or something, it's like I just pop them in my mouth and munch them, and next thing I know, I'm like gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, my blood sugars drop low, so I always try to carry something that's got sugar or protein on it with me.
Alcohol, brother, has both sugar and protein. Don't have no protein, but it has sugar.
I was gonna say it has sugar, don't have no protein.
That's where a beef jerky stick and beer comes in handy. There you go. But you need water though, so you don't die. You getting tired standing up back there, brother?
A little bit. And I'm out of beer, so.
Damn, you're gonna have to take live stream's over for him, He's like, all right, out of beer. Hey, I'm guarding this last one, brother. You're not coming near it. I'm nursing my beers.
I think I got one more at home, and that's it.
Yeah, I got a Rottweiler in there in the house. I don't think you want to just walk in and check. I don't think we have any, too. My wife brought pizza, and she didn't bring beer in. When she brings beer in, then we're cool. But
I got to go eat, too. I haven't had nothing since breakfast.
Duff plus sour gummy bears and bacon, the holy grail of his morning fishing time. This guy, Duff plus sour gummy bears and bacon, the holy grail of his morning / fishing time. And Johnny, you are straight nuts, boy. I'm pretty healthy. I actually eat like bacon and eggs in the morning sometimes. Or I really eat, like I love a good egg with spinach and some onion and mushroom sauteed in butter, and then like a good omelet with a little bit of avocado and some nice tapatio hot sauce all over it. Ooh-wee. I get down. So, but yeah, I do. I'm not the healthiest mofo when I go fishing, though. That's for sure. You got your good old munchies, your beef jerky and your candy and whatever. Man, this live stream went way off. We were supposed to talk about the 10 biggest myths. Let's talk about those real quick, folks. So real quick, I thought I wanted to share with you guys. So if you're interested, it's on discoverboating.com, bass fishing 10 biggest myths. It's a story from 2019. So myth number one, we're going to read them all off and then we're going to go into them. So these are 10 biggest myths. So myth number one, bass become dormant in cold water. Myth number two, bass strike red hooks because they resemble blood. Myth number three, a bass is a bass. Myth number four, modern live wells make fish care easy. Myth number five, you need a big, fast boat to fish efficiently. Myth number six, tournaments harm bass populations. Myth number seven, bass abandon areas treated with herbicides. Myth number eight, big baits catch big bass. Myth number nine, catching nesting bass is like picking cherries or catching bedding fish or spawning fish. And there's myth number 10 is stocking Florida bass improves lunker catches. So ones that I didn't know about, I always thought introducing Florida bass would improve, a fishery. But myth number 10 makes some good points about why they may not. We'll get into that. Myth number 9, of course, I know that catching bedding fish isn't always easy. Myth number 8, Danny, or also known as keeping it real, proved that one wrong when he just caught a 10.8 on a drop shot robo-worm. So we know small baits can catch big fish, and they talk about in this little part about how bass have even been known to live off of little things in the water that are basically the size of fleas, and they have to eat like a bunch of them, but they eat what they can when they have to. So they'll eat little, big. It all depends on what's in the water. bass abandoned areas treated with herbicides. So, when they talk about spraying the delta, people always think that it makes the fishings worse. So there's some myths about that we would be nice to read into. And then here's a good one. Tournaments harm bass population. So they did a study and they found out in a nutbread, we'll talk to you about that myth, shows that regular fishermen that catch and release, that they lead to the same mortality or more than the regular fishermen who fish tournaments. And so they did a study in a couple different lakes and bodies of waters on tagged fish, on catch and release fishermen versus tournament fishermen. And they found that it was almost the same percentage of fish died both ways, basically meaning that you can kill a fish simply by catching it. And that's super important to know, that also when you catch bigger fish, you can kill them simply by catching them. So you can catch a 10-pound bass, you can bring it in, you can take a photo with it and let it go in 2 minutes or 1 minute right back into the water, and it could swim off healthy and turn up dead 2 days later. So, that's a pretty cool one to go over right there.
That also depends on how deep she was and how fast you brought her up, though.
Yep, or not even then, too, how much of an effort she exerted trying to get away from you. And if you had lighter gear and you had your drag set and you had to fight her for a while, versus if you had powerful gear and you hauled her in still full of fresh and energy, then she's going to live longer. But if you had lighter tackle gear and you fought the fish for 10, 15 minutes, then she's literally on the edge of having like a heart attack or a stroke when you bring her in. The heart rate, everything's through the roof.
Like stripers out of O'Neill Ford Bay or San Luis Reservoir, I caught out of 20, 30 foot of water that were just barely keepers, and you burn them up on heavy tackle. You take a picture, you put your trolling motor on high, you pull them for a couple seconds, let them go, they're fine. But if you're using a spinning rod with 6 or 8 pound test and you catch the same size fish or a little bit bigger fish, and you got to fight them 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, by the time you get them up, they die.
Yeah, that happens in a lot of situations.
Instead of just having a little bit of red meat down the rib cage, all the meat's red because they're, what's the hell they're called? You know the word I'm looking for.
I don't know, the blood maybe.
Yeah, but the blood and
but I know that these myths are pretty cool right here. Like bass become dormant in cold water. I know that bass don't necessarily become dormant in cold water. They can be
Florida
very
bass
active.
don't bite as good in cold water as northern.
Well, like for example, they can, but you just have to change your presentation. For example, I've had days in the summertime, so we'll use Kelsey Bass Ranch and my own channel as an example. You can go back and see in the dog days of summer where I went out to Kelsey a full day. I caught 20, 25 fish on a Cinco, had a great day, whatever. Then I go out on the winter and I throw in the worst possible weather and I throw that little blade bait or an LV 500 and I catch 25, 30 and they're all 4 to 6 pounds. You know what I mean? So a jerk bait, a blade bait, LV 500s, there's certain baits that I've thrown in the winter that just seem to murder it. And, even drop shot days out there.
Okay, so. But Kelsey's what, 130 acres and the deepest water is only 13, 14 foot?
Yeah, but my point is that it's not about that. That fishery gets
if you
fished.
Take your average
yeah, but
lake,
okay.
Like
how many fish did you catch when you went to Kelsey last?
When I went with Jay,
when
you want to see the photos?
Oh, when you guys shore fished and you were doing good with the swim baits.
Yeah, when I went with you on the boat, I was throwing was a big swim bait though.
Yeah, but you didn't do very good.
I got 3 hits. That's it.
No fish though.
No.
See, so
not with you on the boat.
But my point is that in that same day I caught a shit ton, didn't I?
Well, you were there 70 hours before us. We got there as you were getting ready to leave.
But my point is either way, that lake can be brutally tough.
Oh yeah.
Or good. So just because of its size,
membership out there.
But my point is regardless of that body of water, it can still be super tough to fish sometimes.
You can go out there and throw a bait this size and slam them, and then go back the next day and nothing.
Can't catch shit.
You got to downsize their little micro bait.
Yep. I know it's up where some days top water will kill it, and then the next day a Cinco kills it. Or one day a jerk bait kills it. But that's how every lake and fishery is. And so I think Kelsey, people think that it's some grand fishery. It's actually brutally tough sometimes, for one. And two, I don't even like giving it its super props because it doesn't, in my opinion, have any true big fish anymore. I think they've all been caught or killed through being caught and then dying, or improper lake management and not removing the 1 to 3 pounders and too many giant bluegills in there. And so, I mean, I don't have $2,500 to pay to fish for 3 and 4 pounders when I could go get a membership at Don Pedro for $100 and some change for the boat and trailer and have chances at double digits every trip I go out. Right. But I might catch
go 8 times and it pays for your annual pass.
Yeah, and I might catch 10 bass one trip, 20 bass another, and Kelsey I might catch 33 pounders, but that's all I'm ever going to catch is 33 pounders.
Right.
So that's.
And Steve Melander had a membership.
Oh, love you, Johnny. Good to see you on. I just noticed. Sorry, buddy. I know you have to get off right now, so I love you. Thanks for jumping on. I'm super stoked to see you tonight. So glad to have been able to talk with you tonight, buddy, and I'm glad you got to hear my voice. I miss you very much, and I cannot wait to see you when you get home in August. So thank you, buddy. I'm glad, and thank you to your mom for letting you get on tonight with me. I really appreciate that, and tell her thank you. And give your sister a big old hug for me and tell her I love her. So. To my 2 kids out there in La La Land in Oklahoma, I love you guys very much. And to the 2 that are here with me, you guys know I love you very much as well. So, bye, buddy. All right. Now, anyways, what were we arguing about?
So, back when Steve Melander had the bait shack in Merced, I worked for him back in like 2003 to 2005.
No.
Or 2004 to 2006, something like that. Anyhow. For the longest time, I held the lake record out at Kelsey, throwing a black and red buck-haired buzzbait that a gentleman out of Stockton made, and he sold them as a bucktail buzzbait.
No, what was the fish?
Oh, he was.
What was your size?
998, almost 10 pounds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we got a 9-pounder out of there.
On a black and red buzzbait.
My guest did, yeah.
But it was way back when.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot over that size there. I think there's the few.
For a long time, I didn't hear no big fish until they found the one floating. It had another fish stuck in its mouth, and a guy and his like 5-year-old daughter scooped up with a net, and they made that the new lake record. It was 15 something, and then somebody was out there with the Railway boys throwing the HUDs and caught one that was almost 17.
16 and some change, yeah.
And since that one's been caught, you haven't heard of no more great big double digits.
There hasn't been any double digits ever. I've heard of people say they got a 10, but nobody ever posted any pics.
Right.
And then the biggest I've seen, I fished there almost 2 years, was a 9-pounder. That was super unhealthy and sickly.
Right.
So it was like.
That one I caught when Steve Melander had his membership out there, it was so skinny, bro. It was like 34 inches long, but it was only like 17, 18 inches around.
Yeah.
It could have been during the spawn or it was healthy and fat. That friggin' fish could have been like 18, 19 pounds, but she was only like this wide.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly.
Her eyes bugged out.
That's exactly how the 9-pounder was, dude.
And then 2 days later, we went back, and right where I caught her, she was dead.
Yep. That's exactly what they say happened to the 9-pounder. We caught it. We let her go healthy, and she died. Like the next day later, they said there's a 9-pounder floating where we let ours go.
Yeah, she
swam off perfectly fine, too. And we didn't put her in the live well, but for like 5 minutes, drove to the other end of the lake, weighed her, and let her go. And she was in a full, cool live well. The water in the live well was healthy and fresh and clean. And she swam off good, too. But apparently the next day they report there's a dead fish there. Yeah. And I don't, what do you call it? I don't doubt it, because I think a lot more of these fish that we catch die when we release them. Some of them go down, some of them float up. You know, some of them get ate by other predator fish or birds and other things. But they say that 17% of all fish mortalities are caught by catch and release fishermen, and that 16.5 to 17% of all fish mortalities are created or caused by tournament fishermen, and then 16 to 38%, or there's like a swing, is caused by actually people going out to kill and eat the fish. And then the other half just die naturally, or old age or things happen to them. Because they did a study where they tagged a bunch of fish and they found it out. So it's like I believe that just fighting a fish alone could probably kill it, especially a big one. And then when they're in a fishery that's not healthy, you increase the chances of killing those fish when you catch them. When you catch them in a healthy fishery, I think you increase the chances of them living. Especially if, like we talked about, if you bring them in with the right gear, you get them in quick enough. I think you got a chance of keeping that fish healthy versus if you fight the fish too long or wear it out, too tired, you damn near put the fish through like the biggest marathon it could ever go through in its life. And now instead of letting it go back into the lake, even if it's for 1 minute and you shove it in the live well, even if you throw it back into the lake, just think about that. You put like in dog, they talk about dog years. So what's a 12-pound bass? A 60-year-old person, basically, 50, 60-year-old person, right? In a sense. So it's like, what did they, you just put them on like the craziest physical exertion that they've ever been through. And you're holding them, and even if you release them right away, they still have it's like a 15 or 20% chance of dying. It's crazy. It's weird, especially the bigger they get. So
right. And in the fall and winter, when you're catching these fish, especially wintertime, like I was 60,
you gotta
80,
fizz them,
90 feet of water, and you bring them up, and you're all, man, this is a fat fish. They're not always fat. That's their air bladder. You got to learn how to fizz them right. And if you don't fizz them right, you can kill them.
Well, I think the fat is the fat. The air bladder doesn't make their stomach implode.
No, it does. I can show
No,
you
usually what it does is it comes out their throat.
It depends on how fast you bring them up.
If you bring the fish up quick enough, then the air bladder, I've seen it comes out.
Oh yeah, it's coming out their throat. I'm not saying.
Or if they're not and they're still and it's not out the throat, and they'll just float sideways. You need to pop the body. They'll shrink a little bit, but if they've got the belly doesn't get bloated from a fizz. The sides do, I think.
Right by the rib cage.
Yeah. Not the stomach, though. Not the bottom. Not the white bottom.
I meant the ribs.
The side, yeah, exactly.
If you see their ribs are like blown out and it's not out their mouth, you need to fizz.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anytime I think you pull a fish out of 30-plus feet deep, 25, 30-plus feet deep, you're probably going to have to fizz them, even in the summer. You pull them out.
That also goes back to depending on how fast you fight them.
I've heard that if you fight them slower, it makes the need for fizzing less versus if you haul them
because they can blow the air bubbles out.
Yeah, they can kind of depressurize themselves in a sense.
Same thing catching big catfish over the years on the Delta or San Luis Reservoir, and a lot of catfishing videos I watch now. You catch them out of 30, 40 feet of water. It don't matter if you got a 100-pound test and it's only a 20 or 30-pound fish. Bring them up slow, let them deflate themselves. And then you got that good 1 to 2 minute window to take pictures and weigh it and measure it and then put it back and it swims off healthy. But if you just burn it up and its air bladder blows up and you take a couple quick pictures and you drop it over, it's going to roll up right on its side and it's going to die. It's not going to swim off. Same thing with the bass.
Oh, the catfish?
Mm-hmm.
I've never really had that kind of deep bass right now. I've never really kind of had that experience with catfish. Those little monsters have always seemed to just take anything you throw at them, including a 12 gauge. Catfish are savages, dude. Like catfish are like the most G'd up monster fish I've ever got. It
depends on the depth you catch them out of, though.
Yeah, so keeping it real, saying he fizzes them in the winter. So you don't want to fizz a fish that doesn't need to be fizzed. So one thing I'd recommend, regardless of how you pull them out or where you pull them out, is set them in your live well and watch them for a second. And if they stay right side up and they swim around, don't fizz them, don't mess with them. If they start to turn, that's when you need to fizz them. And I've seen two different ways of doing it. I've seen someone do the side fizz, and I've seen them do the through the mouth fizz. And
I do both, depending on how bad the air bladder is.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like where you can't see the air bladder in the mouth, but there's a thing where you aim for the chompers just below the chomper and you just pop through and then you hold the bass underwater, and I've seen the air bubbles come out that way. So there's a couple different ways. How's it going, Jesus?
You can also carry a plastic like milk crate and add weights or rocks to it tie a rope in the center, put the fish in there, and then slowly let it down, and that'll deflate them too without you having to harm them.
Oh, you're talking about when you're releasing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without you having to fizz them through their ribs or through their throat.
Another trick, I don't know if it really works. I've seen it work, but I don't know like if the fish is kind of damaged. I've also seen one die like this, but where they sell the weighted clips and you put it on their fins, and then the bass is forced into like, and these are super heavy, like 2, 3, 4 ounce tungsten like weights with these like alligator clips, and you clip them onto the fins, and it pulls the fish down and just forces them, onto the bottom and on their belly. And I've seen it seem to work. But at the same time, one time we did it in a tournament and one of the fish died that we did that too. And later we come an hour later, right? And the fish looks perfectly fine. It's got the weights right there. And then we clip the weights off and it just goes dead. And we're like, oh, shite. So we didn't even know. And then we had to throw that one back and try to catch another one to cold because we were in that specific circuit. If you turn a dead fish in, it's like a 1 pound penalty for one dead fish. Some circuits are only like an ounce or two, or no penalty for the first one, penalty for second one. So each one has its different rules. But that specific circuit was a 1 pound penalty. Like, damn.
Most of the tournaments I fished here was a 1/4 pound for the first dead fish, 1.25 pounds for the second, and it just kept going up if there was any more.
Yep, got a friend on the channel tonight, so we brought in Anthony, and we're having a good time. We've had some fun, talked some BS, went over some stories. He showed some pictures of the past. Right now, we just kind of hashing over and talking about some things. So discussing deep fish and fizzing, stuff like that. So one of the ways I've been shown to do it is when a bass opens its mouth and you see the chompers, right? So if you're looking at the bass and the top of the head's right here, and this is the bottom, and you see the 2 chompers right below the chomper, if you go through and you poke right through there, it does the same thing. I've seen both ways. I don't know which one's more. I think it looks like the one to the side, if you do it wrong, could kill them. You can hit a lot of nasty vital spots. If you do through the mouth, you're just going to get the stomach or like, random things. It's kind of hard to, I think, hurt the bass that way. At least I'm not sure. I'm not a bass physiologist, so I don't know. But just looking at it, it seemed like the more safer way to do it, because I've personally seen both ways done up close. And so I don't know. I've killed a bass fizzing it, and but I've fizzed multiple bass, probably like 10 or 15, but not a lot because before I wasn't into keeping, we didn't tournament. You don't tournament fish in the winter. When you tournament fish, usually most circuits stop around like October, November. And so really didn't usually have much of a need to fizz fish in tournaments until sometimes in the summer when we were catching them super deep. And it's just like we really just didn't do it too much. And so we got one. I played with it, did it for a while, and I think it got broke. So I need to get one before this winter so that I make sure I can fizz my fish better. Because used to be I just take pictures and let them go and they swim back down. And if they didn't, it was like, well, you're going to have some of them die because, the thing I said is I don't like killing bass. I like taking care of the fish for sure. But stuff does happen. So, I'm not going to, burn it on a pyre and send it on a floating funeral and sing a song for it and cry. It sucks, but, I just move on and keep doing what I'm doing. So, but I think it's better and more responsible to have all the gear that you need if you're going to be fishing in the winter. So if you're going to be fishing when it gets to that time of year, when the bass start moving deep, I think it's a good, it's our responsibility to make sure we have fizz gear on our boats. Just like, if you're really out there big fish hunting and YouTube channeling, I really should have had a scale on my boat that night, but now I do. So I got 2 of them on there. We live and we learn from our mistakes. I think that's one of the biggest points too, is that as long as you're making strides and you're willing to. See, I think like I'm not one of those closed-minded or like, oh, I'll never, bro, I'm not gonna buy a fish thing or I'm never. I mean, I want to. I want to make sure my fish live. I want to make sure that I take good quality care of them, and so yeah, I mean, I got to make sure I buy. Like I said, I bought one. I used it on like 15, maybe 20 fish, and predominantly in the wintertime, and broke it. Someone stepped on it basically. So I gotta buy a couple more and make sure I take better care of them. It's winter time's coming up, and even then you can get them in the summer real deep. So it's probably need to order one, sooner rather than later.
Another thing, if you catch a fish and your hook gets in his gill and it starts bleeding, if you have any kind of drink that's carbonated,
Yep.
don't matter if it's an energy drink, a Pepsi, a Mountain Dew, whatever,
Beer.
pour it over its
beer
gills,
get them drunk.
and throw it right in the water, and that bleeding will stop and that fish will swim off.
Oh yeah.
Don't sit there looking at it going, oh my God, this thing's bleeding. Whatever you got is carbonated. All these guys are showing soda or energy drink, anything that has carbonation, don't matter if it's alcohol, soda, tea, energy drinks, whatever. Anything that has carbonation will stop that bleeding. Don't put it in your live well to see if it's going to be okay. Pour whatever you got down its gills or over its gills and immediately put it back in the water.
Yep.
Don't sit there and hold it in your live well and see what's going to happen.
If it's bleeding, yeah, for sure.
If it's bleeding.
If you got it in the gill, yep. Don't do that. That's not a.
Even if you hook it down in what I call the crushers or the gullet,
yeah,
and it's bleeding, do the same thing.
Oh, if it's bleeding from there, that's where it's. That's like it's what do you call it? The jugular.
Yeah.
You cut across right there, you bleed fish out.
Yeah.
So that's like if
If you're a Texas rig,
no, don't do that. I think
it'll rust out in 3 days.
No, it won't. I don't think so. I've caught fish that have hooks still in them. They look miserable. I've caught fish pooping out hook pieces.
Oh yeah, I've caught fish like that too.
I feel bad for them. So like, I think that better to try to take it out and they either live or die. But I don't want to leave a hook in them. So for example, I catch them where sometimes the hook is pointed downwards instead of up, and it's right here. The gills are on the side, right? And it's in that spot where it's bleeding profusely. And you look, and the hook's not in any gills. It's down in that spot where you would slice like a trout's throat to bleed it out. You know what I'm talking about? Right before the crushers, right when you get into the throat part on the bottom, yeah. And so that's the worst place to get a fish. You get them there, they're probably going to die. If not, like he said, you got to have, if you have something carbonated, you can dump it across it. But my philosophy is I'll examine how that hook's in there, and then I'll get it out the right way. I'm pretty good at getting them out in the worst positions possible. But the idea is, yeah, as soon as you do get that hook out, if it's in a gill or anywhere like that, throw the carbonated drink on it, and it's gonna help a lot. Hopefully save that fish's life. The one at Pedro, I just screwed up keeping it in the live well probably too long in a small spot, and I tried refreshing the water, and I think it was the one trip when we drove across, I put it in. I took it from the live well and put it in the bucket side that I use for smaller fish, and it. I think maybe there might have been something in there or the clean water. I don't know what the hell, but stupid dumb. In a few minutes, she was gone. Or it could have just been that she was not too happy and healthy, and then straw that broke the camel's back, and eventually she just went. And I noticed it when we drove from one spot to the other, because I was looking for fishermen all night long, basically trying to wave them down. And I ran into four or five fishermen that night. None of them had a scale, or none of them wanted to let me use it. Super sucked. I was like, damn. I honestly felt two of them had scales and were jealous and didn't want to let me use it. Let me go pee real quick. You can yap to the folks if you want. Just make sure no cuss words and craziness.
I gotta get close enough so I can read the screen. What's up, fellas and gals? I was kicking back at home watching his live stream. Right now I'm staying about a mile down the road, and I asked him if he wanted company. He said, sure, come on over. So I'm here. I just turned 50 back in May. I've been fishing a long time. I've caught a lot of big fish out of the rivers. I've caught them out of the lakes. My personal best is only a 13. But yeah, back in the day, I used to catch a lot. What's up, Danny? Damn, you're back already? That's quick.
Yep.
All right, let me give you your chair back.
Oh, something smells good, though. Somebody's barbecuing something.
I know, dude.
That smells hella good.
I'm freaking hella hungry. I didn't eat dinner before I come over here.
No? Oh, goodness.
Where's your restroom? Is it right out here in the garage?
No, you just have to go out to the back right there. Backyard restroom.
I got piss on it.
How's it going, everybody? So we have a friend over tonight, Anthony, just shooting the breeze, talking about a bunch of random stuff tonight. So earlier we did the raffle for the spots that we had. So we had our 3 winners. So we got to get the items out to them. We had Marco Houston, Junior NSBR Martinez, and the other one. You got to turn it to the left, buddy. Mess with it. Turn it different ways. There you go. He got trapped. So, yeah, we're having fun. Anyways, we played our music video. So we did 3. Actually, we played 2 music videos. I have 3. We were talking about the new music fishing video that I made. We were going over briefly 10 of the biggest bass fishing myths. And mainly we're just having fun chatting tonight. So having a good time. Good to see you, Funk and CT, Danny's Kitchen. Keeping it real as always. And everybody else, thanks for being part of the channel tonight, as always. Now, the last 15, 20 minutes, you know how we roll. I like to leave the floor up to you guys and gals. Any topics, any questions, anything you guys want to talk about, feel free to let her loose, and glad to chat. You know, we got Anthony here tonight, so anything you want to ask us, feel free. Here we are. Otherwise, we got about 10 minutes. We're just chilling, 15 minutes or so, and it's 9 o'clock. And good old sayonara. See you guys later. Last night, or what was it, Mondays, I went until like 9:30, 9:45. So sometimes we go over if we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of people still on, and there's stuff you guys want to talk about. So let me know. Hopefully the mic is helping, and the video quality is a little bit better. Looks a little better. I think sounds a little better to me. So from your end, hopefully it makes a difference, because I spent like $600-700 on everything. So hopefully it helps a little bit. If not, whatever, we live and we learn, right? So, but you know, just focusing in on trying to put in those positive changes to the channel, like I was telling everybody about. Looking forward to doing some smallmouth fishing soon. Going to be fishing up in the mountains, the Sierra Nevada lakes. So going to try to tow the boat up to like places like Almanor, Scotts Flat, you know, Trinity. So we're going to get up there and just have a blast. So appreciate it, keeping it real. Thanks for the sound and video and audio check. Just making sure. Oh yeah, look at these gray hairs now, man. God, if it hits the right, or if they're trimmed, they look dark. But the longer the hair gets, the grayer it gets, man. Look at that. Goodness.
You just barely turned 40, or getting ready to turn 40?
Yeah, I'm just barely turning 40.
And I just turned 50 back in May. I only got a little bit of gray.
At least I'm not bald.
That's all right. That's from. Never mind. Yeah, I can't say what that's from.
Putting your head up your ass,
There's probably
boy.
children watching.
Yeah, you better watch it now. Curtis Leduc, you got a fishing trip, buddy. You talked about throwing square bills at night. What depth do the ones you use dive to? I use just an Ish Monroe Biggie Papa, and I use like a 5 to 6 foot diving square bill, and I get really shallow. And then I'll also throw it over 10 feet water, 10 feet or so, and the fish will come up. So it doesn't always have to have contact with the bottom, but it doesn't hurt. So the closer you get, you fish night, you get shallow, throw those square bills parallel to shore, and try to bump them and crank them into the stuff, you know, make bottom contact. But if you're in 8 to 10 feet of water and your thing only guys 5-6 feet, still throw it, try it out. The next one I go from there is I use the river to sea goon. It goes like 12 to 15 feet. And I'll use that even in 8 feet of water, and it'll dive immediately down and peg right into the bottom, and I'll feel it, and then I'll let it go. And then boom, and then it just constantly bounces off the bottom, and those get crushed. So sometimes, a lot of the time, you want to use a crankbait that dives deeper than the bottom of which you're fishing. So if you think the fish are in 15 feet of water, it doesn't hurt to use like an 18 to 20 foot diving crank. Throw it in that 15-foot range, let that crank get down, hit 15-foot bottom, and then when it hits, don't keep reeling, because that's how you're going to snag yourself. Stop and let it float back up, and for about a second or so, second and a half, and then start reeling again until you hit. And then as soon as you hit, stop. Because what's going to happen is you're going to feel this bumping. You're going to reel, bump, reel, bump. And then what's going to happen is when you'll get a bump and you'll think it's a rock and you'll stop, and then you'll feel it pull back, and that's actually a fish. Then you set the hook and you start reeling. So there are a lot of the time, sometimes those fish, when they hit the crankbait, they're not just going to slam it and make your pull like, oh, it's a fish. Sometimes the bite feels exactly like a rock. So you want to make contact with that bottom, boom, boom. And then when you do, you stop. Because if it's a rock, your crankbait's just going to float out. If it's a fish, you're going to go dump, and then it's going to go boom, boom. You know, it's going to pull some more, and then you set the hook. So hope that helps. My little funky explanation.
No, that was a great explanation. I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, the DT. Oh, yeah, the DT22, the DT12. Yeah, the Rapala. The dives too, and then you just have a number and you knew it. Yeah, the Rapalas were pretty cool like that.
Yep, and the old balsa wood baits back in the day, the old pose.
Yeah, well, the silent cranks are pretty good. The wood crank baits.
Pedro, you go towards the flume, all those dirt islands, you got the big boulders. Say if they were in 17, 18 foot of water, I'd throw a 20 or 25 foot deep diver crankbait. I'd reel as fast as I can until it hit structure and pause. Yep. I'd feel the line go slack. I'd burn it down until it hit structure, pause. And on the pause, when it come up or ricochet off that cover,
that's when you get bit.
It would just load up. And you're like, oh, no, that's not a rock.
Yep.
Sometimes it was a big smallmouth. Sometimes it's a big largemouth. It just depends. And for me personally, I throw a lot of whites with black on it at night, or the deep red crawdad with black and silver flake.
Yeah, darker colors are good at night for sure. Just depends.
Yeah. And if there's a full moon,
Eastman looks like shite right now for sure.
I haven't been up there in a while.
Eastman's super low. We have somebody comment Eastman's like low is pathetic, dude. Eastman's sad right now. I wish it was in better conditions. I love that little lake.
At night when there's a full moon and a little bit of a breeze, I'll throw an all white spinnerbait with one silver, one gold blade. Or I'll throw what they call, back in the day, used to call Merced Magic or McClure Magic. It was a black and red or a black and blue with a Colorado blade.
That's called a Midnight Magic, buddy.
We used to call it the McClure Magic.
I know.
I know it's a Midnight Magic.
Strike King Midnight Magic. Yep. It's a rattling spinnerbait too.
And we really,
with one big old Colorado blade. That's my favorite.
Ricocheting off the cover. Parallel with the bank. Both guys would have to stand on the front deck and cast side by side.
Yep. Those lures work really good right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Just keep dropping drop shot fairy sticks. Oh, it worked for me. See, buddy, keeping it real. If you look last year's fishing, I did predominantly drop shot Ned rig. The biggest fish I got last year on a drop shot was right around the 5, maybe 6 pound range. No, about 6 pounder. I got about 6 pounder drop shotting. Now, my biggest bass drop shotting period is an 8.5 pounder out of McClure. And it was before I had my YouTube channel. So you guys can't see it, but believe you me, I've got pictures of it, got on a scale, and yeah, I got it with a drop shot. So it's whatever works for you. But I've noticed, let me tell you right now, the difference between this year and last year has been tremendous in the fact that I've thrown the jig this year when I bottom bounce. And what happens is I catch a lot less fish. So maybe that 10 pounder wouldn't even a bit. because you might have been doing the right perfect thing at the right perfect time, right? But what happens is with my jig versus the drop shot, I'm getting less fish, but they're all more quality. So what's happening with the jig is I'm getting much more 3 to 5 pounders with the jig, while the drop shot, it seemed to be, whenever I had a fish over 3 pounds, it was a good 50 to 60% chance that they would get off. Even with your stuff set up perfect and all this, it just, if your hook didn't bury just right, catch just right, then when they went on a run, it would rip off, or when they jump, the stupid weight would, fling everywhere, and then, the hook would come out. It just, I had a lot of problems with it, but you know what, though? I tell you what, I've caught a lot of big fish drop shotting. But what I'm focusing on right now is, I think when you drop shot, and especially when you catch a big fish. So like I said, I've got an 8.5. So when you've got an 8 to 10 pound bass on a drop shot, and then you catch a bunch of 2, 3, and 4 pounders, and you're catching a ton of numbers, it's very hard to put the drop shot down. However, when I did put it down, I immediately started getting bigger quality fish. And with the jig, my numbers went down a little bit, but the quality stepped up. It was a trade-off. And also, I think the water level, the clarity of the water, what's going on in the year plays a big difference. So if the fish are up shallow, if they're in dirtier water, or the fish are hanging shallow, I prefer that jig. If the fish are 30 plus feet deep, I don't like throwing a jig that deep. I'll prefer a drop shot or a Ned rig. So there's a lot of different nuances into when I'll throw what. So I don't ever want to put myself in a box. That's also where I just got a double digit throwing a deep diving crankbait, but yet you don't see me every other video throwing the deep diving crankbait because I'm not stuck on it. I'll try to use what lure when, if that makes sense. So when I'm fishing and I got all these factors and things in my head, and I get to the lake, I get to the spot, then I have a big believer in fish the moment. So you have all this stuff pre-tied on to the lake that you're going to, the body of water, and the weather and time of year. So if you're fishing in the winter, you're going to have different gear tied on and prepared, usually, than if you're fishing in the summer, spring, or fall, right? So each time of year, you may have different gear already pre-selected because you think in the winter this is going to work. You think in the summer top water and this is going to work. So you already have these pre-planned, preconceived notions, right? Which is good. If you know fishing, you read about it, you learn about it, you say, okay, well, generally they should be doing this and they should be doing that. So you go out with a game plan, right? That's what I do. And then when you get there, the game plan may instantly change. If you're like, well, shit, yeah, it's summer, but we got crazy wind and it's only 85 today. Oh, maybe I'm going to throw spinner baits across Main Lake Points, or maybe I'm not going to throw top water, right? So you got to make adjustments on the fly based on the weather and the conditions you see. So as I get there, that's what I do. I assess the situation. Okay, what's the conditions tell me? Do I have chop? Is the water clear? Is the water dirty? Is it daylight, nighttime? What time of year is it? Then I make my decision on what I'm going to throw, and I start fishing. And if I don't start catching it, you better believe I'm changing and I'm throwing different things. So I'm throwing things from square bill. So, for example, each time of year has its preconceived lures, right? So right now in the summertime, I'm probably going to have a deep diving crank. I'm going to have a medium diving crank and a shallow diving crank. I might have a spinnerbait on. I'm going to have a top water on. And those will probably be my search baits. Then I'm going to have something like a jig. Fuck a chatterbait. Then I'm going to have a jig, or I'm going to have a drop shot or a Ned rig. You see what I'm saying? I put myself in a box. I don't like chatterbaits, and I don't know why. I just don't like them. So when you would use a chatterbait, I use a crankbait. And a crankbait has treble hooks. I'll take the treble hooks over the chatterbait. But if the chatterbait gets a good solid hook, that one hook is probably going to hold a hell of a lot better than the trebles. So if you get a 10-pounder and it runs with the trebles are actually much smaller hooks. Sometimes they don't actually pop through. They actually just grip. And it's easier to straighten them out. It's easy to rip them out of the fish's mouth. So there are some drawbacks, and I know the chatterbait is just what you prefer. what you're comfortable with, right? So I'd prefer to throw a spinnerbait over a chatterbait. And then whatever depth you're going to roll your chatterbait, I'm going to roll my spinnerbait. And then if you're going to bounce your chatterbait on the ground, then I'm throwing a jig. So why the hell would I throw a chatterbait? See? So in any situation, well, that's my point. In any situation, a chatterbait works, so does a spinnerbait.
Because I've used a chatterbait like a jig.
So do I. That's the only.
Snap it up and let it fall.
That's the only situation in which I've actually ever really liked to use a chatterbait. Is I use a white chatterbait in winter, and I cast it deep, and I work it like a jig.
And swim jigs work good too.
Yeah,
they have.
I don't use swim jigs at all.
I put a Kitech 4.5 on it.
Yep, I don't use swim jigs.
I throw a half ounce to a 1
I'll
ounce.
tell you guys. See, that's where he'll bring out. See, other people might bring out stuff I might not have let slip, or I would have kept quiet. I don't prefer chatterbaits. I don't like them. I'll rather use a crank or a spinnerbait to produce the same effect. And then when I'm trying to fish the bottom, I'd rather fish a jig. However, yes, there are times, and I've actually got a video of me cracking them on chatterbaits. But yes, I throw chatterbaits usually like a jig. I like to bottom bounce them, right? I'll throw them because they create more vibration than a jig. So I'll throw them down into 60 and I'll barely lift them, kind of like an LV 500. Mm-hmm. And so they have their uses.
And don't be afraid to yo-yo spinnerbaits down in 50, 60,
That's exactly what I do too. I use a spinnerbait like a jig.
And when I do that, I buy the spinnerbaits that got 4 blades on them, the willow blades.
Oh, and we're going to school you on spinnerbaits.
And when you jack them up and let it fall down, those blades hit, and it makes a whole bunch of noise.
Yeah. How about this? Can you name the 3 different spinnerbait blades? Or
Colorado,
blades?
Indiana, and willow.
All right, you sucker, you got it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
And then what's your favorite out of them?
Mine?
Yeah.
Is a 3 and a 5 together, the willows.
I like an Indiana, hands down.
And I like an Indiana in the wintertime if I'm fishing around structure like the Eastman Dam.
I want an Indiana every time of year because it's the best of both worlds.
Or double willow.
A willow is good in clear water like McClure and Pedro Maloney's, while a Colorado is good at night or in dirty water like Eastman or Clear Lake or a pond. Or the Delta, right? And that Indiana is just bam, baby. It got both. It's a confidence bait, but it's got, to me, it's got a little bit of thump like the Colorado has, but it's also got the flash, and it's not quite as water. It doesn't quite as drag down your pole when you're reeling, and you got a big old Colorado, and it's like boom, 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 boom. And if you don't have a heavy enough, if your rod's too heavy, you don't feel it. If your rod's not heavy enough, it's like you got a fish on, and it's just a spinnerbait. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so you got to have the right pole for throwing a Colorado. And I love a Colorado, but I use them in the Delta, ponds, dirty water, nighttime, right? Now, a willow is good in clear water when you're mimicking like bait fish, or like you said, when you toss it down, you work it like a jig, you're doing almost like an A-rig. Guys do that with A-rigs too. They throw their A-rigs down, let it hit the bottom, pop it up, and they use it and they flutter it and they move it around. I'm cool with that, and I like the willows too. But I'm just saying, like, if I had to have one spinnerbait that I could fish in both clear water, dirty water, whatever water, the Indiana blade gives me the confidence to know that I think I have the drawing power of the Colorado, yet a little bit of the stealth of the willow, and I like it. It's best of both worlds. But everybody's different. Everybody has their own, and that's the unique, cool thing about fishing, right? We could go fishing with each other, and one day you might kick my butt, one day I might kick yours, but you see that there's many different ways to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's many different ways to catch fish. So you could do it this way, I could do it that way, this guy could do it this way. And then you got guys claiming that this may be the best way, and then like guys that get paid big money to bass fish. Sure. But each area of each part of the country, each body of water is different. And then also confidence is very huge. So if you're super confident in something, I know guys that catch monsters on light pound test and I know dudes that swear that you got to use the big poles. And when you hook a big fish, they just hork them and they monster them in. They don't fight them. I know guys from different camps, and they're both successful. It's just like, do whatever is good for you. And then if it's not working, adapt and change, right? And then pay attention to other people and don't be too. That's where I try to be very honest with myself. And when I do catch myself in a box, like all mad, like I don't throw.
Don't be closed-minded.
Exactly. Don't be closed-minded because I don't get into too many positions where I'm like, I don't throw it. Because honestly, I do. I will throw the chatterbait. It's like, but if I have lures that I prefer more than others, but I have been with, like, say, Jeremy, when one day we were at Eastman and I'm throwing the square bill, he's throwing the chatterbait, and sure enough, he gets like a 6-pounder, and I don't, right. And I made 100 casts right there with the square bill, and first cast with his chatterbait. So I know there's different ways to catch them, different strokes for different folks. Let's turn that AC off. We're freezing you out in here.
Oh, no, you're not freezing me out. It's also your confident bait. Back in the old days, when I used to fish West Coast bass and San Joaquin team bass and all those, I had one
Gustavo?
I had one Pacific worm I'd throw all year. It was a keeper 411.
What am I? Let's answer some questions real quick. So they want to know what trailers I use. So I like to use little bugs like this, kind of like a mighty bug, crawdad bugs. I like to use. This is a Ned rig, but this is white. So I've got the white on the white spinnerbait, but they make this in black and blues and greens. And this is a little 2.5-inch, 3-inch trailer. I use this on my jigs. I use a lot of different stuff, but I always try to match the color with the skirt and the profile. For example, like I think this goes pretty good with this is a PB&J jig, but this green and this brownish green kind of match really good. And I think this makes a nice profile. And again, well, I like my trailer. When I pick my trailer for my jigs, I want the appendages to start right under where the skirt ends, right? So I don't want them to start where the skirt ends. I want them to start like a half or a quarter an inch. So you see how the appendages start right here? That's because the appendages, see, they're not going to have any interference. The skirt is not going to have any interference with this. And it's not too short, so you're not seeing too much of that. And the trailer's not too long. It's very important, in my opinion, that your trailer not be too long. I'd rather a little bit of a shorter, a little bit of a shorter skirt than a longer skirt because I want my appendages showing. So I think that the point of throwing a trailer on a jig is it needs to complement. It needs to go together perfectly. So if you have too big of a trailer on too small of a jig or too small of a trailer on the jig, I don't think if too small matters too much because it's in a sense that sometimes you can get bit on a jig without a trailer. So if they're hitting the jig without a trailer, if you're using a small trailer, whatever. But I think a too big a gaudy trailer, I've had that bite me many a times when I'm throwing for big fish or I'm throwing a big old jig with a big old trailer and they just don't want nothing to do with it. Or when I get bit, I can't hook the fish. And then I downsize and sure enough, I start catching them. Yeah, they may have only been 2-3 pound fish, but for some reason they just weren't committing with the bigger size jig sometimes. And then sometimes that's what's going to get you the monsters is throwing the bigger jig. But I do have a double digit on this exact jig right here.
And also, to me, personally, depends on the time of the year you're throwing jigs. In the fall or winter, I'll throw a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce, and I'll put a 7 to 10 inch Berkeley power worm instead of a twin-tail grub or a pork rind like other people use, and just snap it off the bottom. Let it sit, and then you drag it a couple feet, snap it off the bottom.
I've used
and they either hit it when you pull it up
worms.
or on the fall.
Yep. Yeah, worms, straight tail worms, or Cincos.
See, I use
Cinco works as a 5-inch Cinco works great because you using curly tail or straight tail.
I use curly tail. 7 to 12 inch Berkeley power worms.
I'll use a 5-inch Cinco on them too.
That's my preference. I've taught other guys like Kenny Shepard and his partner all that, and I showed them how to throw spoons back in the day, and that's how they started winning money. Yeah. And now they're crushing it everywhere they go.
Yeah, well, you
follow them during the wintertime, they got the flutter spoon on, a jigging spoon, and big jigs with big trailers.
Yeah.
And that's how they're cashing their checks. And that keeper 411 worked.
Yeah, well, that and the small, they're doing those little small, like the chompers and little
Right.
drop shot worms too,
Right.
though, and they
And
work
brass and
certain.
glass. Brass and glass works really good all year round.
Yeah.
Especially in the wintertime when the fish are down deep and they're real lethargic. You put that brass and glass on and you just sit there and just shake your rod tip.
Well, I know like Matt Frazier and them were getting a lot of their keepers on the floating fly too.
Yeah. Floating fly will work.
Floating fly was catching a lot of bass this year.
Yeah,
so let's see, what's your favorite? I've never seen bass some so high out of the water than I did yesterday, chasing dragonflies all day. It was so amazing. I wish I had a GoPro for it. Were you at Kelsey Bass Ranch by any chance? Because Kelsey Bass Ranch right now till about almost August, the bass will leap out of the air 3 to 4 feet to attack dragonfly, especially when they get big. Right now, this is one of the biggest times a year for those. So what happens, I get Rancho Seco. Okay, so here's what I was doing to catch the fish that were eating those. Those fish that are keyed in on dragonfly are extremely hard to catch. So one of the best ways that I catch those things is with the weightless Cinco, and they're going to hit two ways. So whenever you see them jumping for the dragonfly, throw your weightless Cinco in and let it sink and pop it once or twice. If you don't get a hit, reel it in and just keep casting over and over and over. And what they're doing is those bass are jamming around, chasing those dragonfly. They know where they're going to be. The bass have their eyes and their heads looking up, and they anticipate or see the dragonfly, and then they make instantaneous decisions. So you need something that's more of a reaction. So you need it to hit on the drop, the splash. You need the bass to see your Cinco go flying through the air like a dragonfly and want to get it. And so it helps to see the bass erupt, come out, and then toss your Cinco right away within a few seconds, because you know that fish should be somewhere, but they move really fast and really quick, and they'll be darting and smashing around. So sometimes a fast lure like a jerk bait can work, or an A-rig also, but I tend to found the two best ways I've got them this time of year was a Cinco, weightless, and what I would do is you get them two ways. Again, either on that initial drop, as soon as the fish hears and sees a splash and comes to investigate it and the Cinco's falling, they hit it right then. So if you don't get a fish in your first 30 seconds to a minute of working the bait, usually I reel it in and I just keep making repeated casts. As I'm trying to draw attention, I want the fish to see the Cinco flying through the air, and I want the splash to draw the attention of the fish to come look at it. Then the second thing is dead stick. Cast out there and spray your Cincos up with Bang and fish attractant. Make sure they're all sauced up, real nasty and juicy like, and throw your Cinco out there and fish it like bait. Throw it out there and sit, and literally you'll notice 2 to 3 minutes in, you'll just be sitting there like you're catfishing. Boom. Big old 5+ pound bass. I swear to God, I guarantee you it will work. And it's this time of year specific to it. So the dead stick is really good in very hot summer, especially in smaller bodies of water like Rancho Seco, Kelsey, little ponds, little lakes like Salt Springs, stuff like that. The dead stick is super killer. Do not sleep on a dead stick. I'm telling you right now, try it out. Go out and make a few casts and just chill. I mean, literally, and people think I'm joking, like 20, 30 seconds. Nah, when he says 2 minutes, no, literally, I've like got food out and started preparing and eating lunch or drinking or doing stuff. I mean, I'm doing something for like a couple minutes, and then all of a sudden my pole gets almost yanked out the boat. I've got a video of a kid getting his freaking pole yanked overboard and dragged into Kelsey and swims off like it's jet skiing, and the pole was in the water for like 3 minutes. Nothing touched it, and it was just hanging out. And the kid had made a cast, set the pole down, and was doing a bunch of stuff. Mine, dad had a fish, maybe I had a fish, we're having fun. Next thing you know, his pole just goes flying right out the boat. And I've got at least 100+ big fish last year by simply casting my lure out and just letting it sit. dead serious. I swear to God. Do not work it at all. Go bait fish for bass with Cincos and see what happens. Tell me you don't get some fish. I guarantee you this year when you find fishing extremely tough and you can't figure them out, believe you me, please try the dead stick. Just cast out and bait fish your Cinco. You will be like, your mind will be blown and open like you had just ate a gang of mushrooms or something. You're going to be like, what the hell just happened?
See, me on the other hand, I'm opposite. If they're feeding on dragonflies, I'll throw a Cinco. As soon as it hits the water, I start using it like a jerk bait and keep it right on the surface.
Yeah.
Working next to the weed lines, the lily pads, the over the moss, whatever, and they'll come through there and eat it.
Yep, that's
the
what
only
I was
problem
saying,
with
like
that,
the first few seconds.
This time of the year,
noise.
The bullfrogs are out too, so you'll end up catching one of them. The other night I went night fishing out in Gustine for catfish, and I started throwing a frog on the moss beds that were parallel with the bank in the canal. I caught 22 bullfrogs on a white frog that didn't have legs, that had 2 blades. And it could be out in open water, and they would jump off the bank to get it. I'm trying to catch bass, and I got bullfrogs.
No, I dead stick Texas rig. I don't dead stick wacky. I don't wacky rig fish. And I'll say that, again, I don't, not to disparage it. I think it's a great way to fish. I'll be very honest. I have lack of experience with fishing wacky in the sense of what size hook with what size everything. And I get so sick of freaking losing my fish with these damn open hooks like drop shots and wacky rig crap, and then going to hook it and the stupid fish coming off. I like big ass monster nasty hooks that I can set like a Titan, and I know they're hooked, jigs and Texas rig and stuff, or treble hooks. Give me 6 hooks. Give me 6 nasty hooks like this, and one of them's going to stick, and I'll just make sure my drag's set, or give me one big old monster mean nasty hook. I don't like these little dinky fairy hooks. I mean, I used to, but I lose too damn many fish with them. And then the other thing is wacky rig is just inherently anti-aerodynamic or weed dynamic. So let's just say you got a bunch of weeds and you cast into them and there's some pockets and then weeds and then pockets. Well, that wacky rig is sideways with your hook and you're pulling it through, and that's just a bigger profile. So your Cinco, when it's flared out, is 6 inches wide, and then you've got this freaking hook in the middle that can catch any weeds, anything, and anything that hits the Cinco can ride towards the hook and sit on it, even if it kind of bends. It's just this big, wide profile. You take a Texas rig and it falls into the weeds and you pull it through, its profile is like this because it's coming through like a bullet weight, and that bullet weight is pushing weeds and pushing crap out of the way, and it's aerodynamic or water dynamic like a bullet, and it just goes through weeds and crap and everything, and the Cinco follows it. And if your hook tip's buried, you're not going to catch shit. You're not ever going to get weeds on it. And if you do feel anything, you can like almost like a jerk bait, you can give it a soft double, like a, and then all the weeds will fall right off of it. And the cool thing is with a Texas rig, if you pop it, right, and then you give it slack, the weight separates from the hook and everything and then falls, right? And you may watch your worm fall like a bullet. But the second that weight hits the ground, don't, your Texas rig now starts falling like a regular Cinco in a sense. Yes, the weight is heavy towards the head, but the way that the Cinco is, it's still going to fall like that dying minnow type thing once the hook and weight get separation. So, Texas rig's almost like a Carolina rig. When you're watching it, that bullet weight is all right up against that Cinco. But as you pop it, that bullet weight flies up and you get separation. And if you give it slack, the bullet weight will fall first, and then the Cinco will actually naturally do its thing. So the Texas rig is, in my opinion, by far superior. And the reason for that is because when you're going to use the Cinco, it's usually in woods, weeds, debris, crap, and cover. So I want it weedless. If I have to fish something that's an open hook and I'm that worried about it, or if I can, I'm going to fish a jig with an open hook. But if I'm fishing something like the Delta, why the hell would I want an open hook in the Delta? Now, yes, I know that they make a weedless wacky rig, but again, did I get into the point where there's this little pocket or there's all these tendrils of weeds, and I'm going to pull my worm through there, and I've got all these tendrils of weeds, and my worm's coming through sideways, it's just going to catch more crap. But if I have all the other tendrils of weeds, and then my worm can just leak through all sleek and just easy and water dynamic, the bullet weight, in my opinion, is 10 times better for fishing weeds and cover and stuff. Wacky rig is just easier to stick a fish. But if you're attentive, if you pay attention to that little tap, bam! I mean, I'm ready. I unload on them. I don't miss many fish. Hence, I don't need that stupid open hook. And then if I hook the fish skin hooked with with an open hook, little, mosquito hook, I'm less confident of landing that fish than if I've got a nice Texas rig through that mouth. So I don't know, but everybody's different. I don't preach against it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's wrong. I think there's a lot of guys that catch monster bass at the California Delta throwing wacky rig Cincos, and that's awesome for them. And I don't want to put myself in a box either. That's where I've got to be careful, because I think a wacky rig Cinco, there's probably times it does great, but it's my confidence. So like I said, follow along on the channel and watch as I learn too, and you can learn with me. I never proclaimed to be this badass fisherman. I think I'm good at fishing. I do think I'm good at fishing. I think I have some skill. I think I have some things to offer, but I'm very humble and honest that I'm learning as well this whole time. And the awesome part is I'd like to share that with everybody so you guys can learn as I'm learning, right? We're just fumbling along through life. You know what I mean? So they were all in the weeds, huge splashes all day. Only caught 3 all day. Good size though, 3.1. Bank fished all day. Yep, good job, buddy. Try that wacky, or try the Cinco dead stick. So here's what I want you to do if you get a chance, Marco, and you get back out there and you see that happening. I want you to try 2 things, just like he said. Remember how I said I get fish in the first few feet or few seconds of the splash in the land, and then if I don't get a fish, I don't just reel it in. I work it in exactly like he's saying. I start darting and snapping and pulling my Cinco in, kind of like a fluke, right?
Like a fluke or a soft jerk bait.
Darting along. Exactly. That's exactly what I do. So you cast out, you let it hit, you let it sink all the way to the bottom. And what'll happen is if the fish are active and they're smashing around, what might happen is you cast, the fish is already seeing your lure fly through the air and it's headed towards it. It hits, doosh, and the fish goes and it's sinking. Fish looks and eats it. And then the fish is sitting there. You don't know. So you cast it, your Cinco sinking, you didn't feel a tap. Your line, you didn't maybe it's a little windy or a long cast. Your line didn't really do anything much. Then what happens is you go to reel, and when your line gets tight, you go to lift up, and it feels like you're in weeds or something, right? You stop, and you may be in weeds, and then you can just pop it or pull it out or fadangle with it, right? But if you feel something, and then you feel that tug back, that's a fish, right? And a lot of times this time of year, when you feel that tug, the fish pops, like it pops out and the fish releases because the fish had it the whole time. That's why it's important that when you cast and your lure falls in that very first jig that you go to do, it's important that you don't just reel and assume and jig, that you reel your slack in slow or like fast, but as soon as your slack starts getting tight, reel it in kind of slow and be attentive, like. And if you feel any kind of movement, tick, boom, right, unload on that bastard. And then what I do is, like I said, if the fish did not hit in that first initial splash and then sink down and pop up maybe once or twice, then yes, I go exactly like he said. You start going to like almost, you work it in like a jerk bait, right? And then I make another cast and I let it die, and then I pop it and I let it die, and then I work it in like a jerk bait. And then I'll do the same thing. Like at McClure, I'll go up by Bagby, and when all the debris comes down in March, in spring, when the snow melt comes in and the debris on that first big bend, it creates a big field of big old like logs and crap on it. Well, it'll be over 30 feet of water, right? So what I'll do is I'll take a weightless Cinco and cast on the edge and let my Cinco fall about a foot or two and then pop it and snap it like a jerk bait. And then if you pull it to the surface, you let it die another foot or two, and then you pull it just like a jerk bait, right? And then you kind of work that foot or two of water. So that's a killer way to do it when they're going after those dragonflies. And then the other technique, if they're not hitting something moving fast and moving, please trust me, try bait fishing your Cinco. I swear to God, even if you think it's a joke, anybody out there, go anywhere, take your pole, take a Cinco, throw it out there, and just set your pole down like you're freaking catfishing and bust out a beer or whatever. And I guarantee you will probably get a bite in the first 3 to 5 minutes. If not, redo it. And trust you me, within like an hour, I guarantee you're going to get merculated. Something is going to crush you. And when you get your first true dead stick, like an actual bait fish bite, when you're sitting out there just bass fishing and you actually have the let's say you have the patience to sit there for freaking actually 2 or 3 minutes and hold your pole. When you get your first, when it's 2 minutes in, and all of a sudden your line starts swimming and it loads up and you're like, holy shit, and you get your first fish like that, it is a mind-opening experience that you didn't realize you could catch. And then you start thinking, right? When you're throwing the jig, right? You go out to the lake, you throw the jig, and there are nights or days when you get them popping it and working it, or when you drag it, and you think to yourself, what if you had just tossed that jig out there and let it sit for a few minutes and then popped it and then let it sit? You ever try that? Right? Or when you use your crankbait and you cast it out there, a lot of guys, they'll reel it real slow, or they'll reel some, or they'll speed reel to get it down. Then when they get it down, they reel slow. How many guys you think could toss the crankbait out there and literally crawl there? And what their crankbait's doing is it's literally an inch under the water, just going. You have the patience to do that and watch just boom, big old bass come out and murder your shit. So I'm telling you, there's 2 ways you want to try to make sure in the summertime, especially right now, if you're seeing bass after dragonflies, you need to try fast and erratic. You need to try to get a reaction bite, because that's what them fish are doing. If they're not going to hit it that way, trust me, because you'll notice it's brutal. There's all these fish jumping, and how the hell come I can't catch them? Chill. Dead stick. And I guarantee you this is the time of year dead stick will shine. I've got multiple videos you can go and watch that are just dead stick left and right. I've caught 20 something fish where all I did was go out and bait fish. Literally, I took my Cinco rod, I cast it out, and I just sat there. And Jay Feber, he used to take these out to Eastman and dead stick the Kitex and cast them out and dead stick them. And then after they'd sit for a while, he'd just reel them a foot or two and then stop again.
Kelsey's the same way.
And then a foot or two and then stop. Yep.
And with the big swim baits, like the Huddlesons or the River Sea, they got a J hook like this one. Do not be afraid to dead stick them any time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you have to drag them a little bit, or you can let it sink to the bottom.
No, we're not fishing tonight.
And just shake your rod tip a little bit.
No.
And that bait will sit there in one spot, and that tail will move around.
Yeah, any kind of current will do that too.
If you're fishing up in the river and they're pumping water,
you can dead stick it.
And it's dead sticking, that tail is going to be moving. And as that bass cruise by, you can be like, oh, look, that trout is not doing too good. Come down on it. Bam.
Yeah, exactly. Or like a little goby or minnow that's feeding in the rocks, got its head down and its tail's out moving. If you've ever seen like the way a trout will sit in the stream, just kind of sit there. Well, those gobies and bait fish will actually be feeding on stuff and be like that. So we got J-Rod asking, you got any spot to fish Maloney's with kayak? I only got 2 fish last time. All right, so if you're at Maloney's, the two places I would recommend if you can get to across by the dam, if you can fish that rock wall by the dam. If you're dropping out of Glory Hole, go right in and fish the marinas, all the marinas. Fish all the boat docks, the marinas, the houseboats. There's a bunch of trees down there.
Yeah.
So there should be a ton of fish in the marinas. You may have a little bit of a hard time if you have to drop shot, but there should be a ton of fish holding in the trees and then the stuff that's right there. If you're just fishing a kayak, drop right in and head right to the left, fish all the way to the very back where all the marinas end, and then come right back out, fish that whole main lake point, go around there. Also, if you can get a chance and you can shoot directly straight across from the Glory Hole ramp, headed upriver, like towards Coyote Creek and all that, right on the left, I think that's Black Creek. But there's some islands out there you can fish that are really good. And if the wind picks up or boats are picking up, you can head up into the first creek arm on your left. Is pretty dang good. So you just drop out of Glory Hole and make a left, and then go straight across, go straight down. Down by Tuttletown, all of that, if you've got good wind or not a lot of wind, that's good area. There's a lot of shallow water out there, but when the wind gets blowing and it's that northeastern wind or whatever it is, it really blows across that lake horrible. And Tuttletown and all the area over there gets beat up bad. One of the best places to hang out and hide out of the wind when you're in a kayak is going to be in the marina area or that very first creek arm after the marina. So those would be my two biggest go-tos if I was in a kayak. So hopefully that helps.
Right.
Now, guys and gals, I just noticed again it's 9:30. We went pretty late. So thank you guys for watching. We'll give us a couple more minutes and see if there's any kind of things you guys want to ask us, any tips or tricks. We'll also give Anthony a few minutes to talk with you guys or for us to shoot the shite a little bit. But we're going to be getting off soon here. So thank you guys and gals for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream. Common Sense Fishing here. But yeah, so the floor is yours. If you guys have any questions, hit them up. Otherwise, we're going to have Anthony just maybe give you guys some of his tips and tricks because everybody fishes differently. I don't ever say again that I'm like the know-it-all, be-all. So good night to anybody that's leaving right now. Otherwise, like I said, we'll go a few more extra minutes. We'll let Anthony take the floor for a minute. Do you have anything you want to share with him that you think I might have missed on? Any Delta spots? Hold on. Any Delta spots? I'm by Buckley Cove with a kayak. Are you in by Buckley Cove with a kayak right now? If you are, then I would recommend, if you're night fishing, Buckley Cove is the place to be. Do not even leave. Fish all the slips and fish next to the shore. So if you get in your kayak, no, don't listen to this. I'll tell you all about Buckley Cove. If trust me this, watch. So hold on. Tell me this don't work. If you get in your kayak where you can get to where boats can't get, each boat slip has there's this narrow lane where the shore is right here and the dock walkways are right here. And then there's a walkway from the shore to the dock. And it's just this little triangle, but you can squeeze your kayak underneath it and you can get into this back lane where no bass boats can get. And you can take your crankbaits and Senkos and you run them parallel. And if it's lower tide and the bass are by the docks, they will come out from underneath the docks and crush you. If it is high or medium tide, they'll be right up against the shoreline. The current pulls right through there, and they will it's just like a highway. There will be hundreds of fish. Sal, you can do it all night long. You can go to Buckley Cove. All you have to do is fish from that point, from the main point right there, all the way back to the launch and go back and forth in that little tiny little slough, like 2.5, 3 foot wide little area that you have to fish between the docks and the shore. You will straight murder it right there, and trust you that nobody can say otherwise because they're in a bass boat and their dumbasses They'd be lying because they couldn't get there. How do I know? Because I'd get out and I'd fish from shore. So we were cheating ass savages as far as in like we didn't care about the rules. So we'd launch our bass boat and then we'd park right up on the dock, tie it up and get out and act like we owned the place. And we'd walk around and crankbait fish off the dock and catch 20 or 30 fish and have 5 and 6 pounders and monsters without even leaving Buckley Cove. Now, if you could do that, right? Now, if not, my next best place I would say is get out onto the main, and if you can get up, Dad's Point is really good. The Navy post-naval graduate or the naval ship that's right there on the left, the rod and gun club area on the left-hand side. That whole wall is great.
Big paddle boat's good.
Yep, Apothecary Cove is my favorite place on the entire Delta. So if you go up where Lois Park is, so Lois Park is right south of Lads and Buckley. So if you head towards downtown Stockton, there's a place called Lois Park, Pixie Woods. There's a little place called Smith Canal. Well, there's a big, giant, like L-shaped cove that's right there that all these houses and docks line. And we've got over 5 double digits out of that cove alone. So take it or leave it, but that's my Delta sweet spot right there. Now, anyways, what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, the gentleman that was talking about Maloney's. Also, if you launch at Glory Hole, instead of going towards the marina, go to the right if the wind's not bad and fish that main point and work your way up into Angels Creek Arm. There's all kinds of laydowns. There's all kinds of rock piles.
Oh, yeah, Angels Creek Arm.
There's all kinds of stand-ups. And if the wind kicks up and you're in Angels Creek Arm, you're going to be safe. You're not going to get blown off the water.
No, you'll get blown towards. You get blown towards
the Angel
launch.
Creek boat ramp.
Well, yeah,
or call somebody, hey man, my vehicle's
or you
there.
Get blown towards Glory Hole. Yeah, you'll get blown down,
or it'll blow you back out on the main lake.
Yeah, not the other way. Yeah, that's another one. Angels is a great spot anywhere there. Angels Creek is a badass.
Me and a
area.
buddy of mine were there about 7 years ago, and I was throwing a 3/4 ounce PB&J jig up against the trees. I get hit. I stick this fish. I told my buddy to get the net. I thought I had a giant bass. I had a 15-pound German brown trout. He swallowed that friggin' jig.
I had an 8-pound German brown destroy a red spinnerbait with like 8 blades. It was this one that's meant to look like a giant bait ball, and it's got like 4 spinnerbait arms, and each arm has 2 or 3 small blades, and it opens up. It's a bait profile about this big, like the size of a softball. Mm-hmm. And out on the outside edges is all these blades. Then you got the big red skirt with the hook and the trailer. And the trout hit it and destroyed it so bad, it mangled all of the metal arms for the blades. You couldn't even use the spinnerbait anymore. Done. You jacked it up. Yeah, that lake's awesome, dude. New Maloney's is a great lake. So anybody now J-Rod, what about daytime? All the same spots I told you, daytime, same as nighttime, it don't matter. They're all good right there. So
my biggest bass out of New Maloney's was on an MS Slammer. I was with Dennis Wainwright out of my little 16-foot Astro, and it went $12.98 on an MS Slammer.
Where? At New Maloney's?
New Maloney's.
Yeah. This guy, honestly,
at 9:30 in the morning.
Half of his stories are probably bullshit, but to be honest, this dude really does have a lot of monster double-digit bass.
Go on my Facebook.
I know he does. I am not arguing the fact. This dude has got a lot of double-digit bass. So you do know what you're doing, and he has caught some big-ass fish. So all joking aside, that's why it's good to be open-minded to it's good to fish with other people. You can see what they do, what works. And, not everybody fishes the same. So it's cool to see different styles, different strokes from different folks, right? Seeing what works to catch fish, because then you can open your mind and open your horizons on what you might try and do in any certain circumstances and situations. So, I mean, like I said, if I see enough fish keep getting caught with the chatterbait, of course, I'm going to start throwing it more. Now, like I said, I do use it, but it's usually in a jig capacity, and I usually throw a white chatterbait, and I usually fish it deep. So,
I took a friend of mine fishing about 10 years ago out to some private ponds. Over
Man, you
here.
haven't even caught a 4-pound bass yet? Damn, brother, we're going to have to
Who's
hook
that?
you up. J-Rod. So you just keep fishing. You're going to get yourself a 4+ pound bass.
Yeah.
That's where I think if you've been fishing enough and you haven't got one yet, then you need to evaluate if you're probably throwing too much drop shot Ned rig stuff if you're fishing these lakes like McClure, Pedro, and New Maloney's. Now, if you're fishing the Delta and the biggest one you've got is 4 pounds, yeah, definitely might be that. You need to definitely make sure you're throwing some top water, some frogs, whopper ploppers, square bills, and Cincos if you're at the Delta. You need to kind of make sure, in my opinion, make sure those are on deck. Whopper plopper and a frog for topper water, square bill for reaction and a spinner bait, and then a Cinco for bottom bouncing. That's all you really need at the California Delta, and you should be able to at least have a good day. There'll be times when you might find fish and they'll bite this over that, whatever. But if you fish those few lures, you're never going to get skunked, and you will eventually catch something way over 4. Now, if you're out at the big lakes, McClure, Pedro, Don Pedro, or New Maloney, stuff like that, start throwing stuff like the jigs. Start throwing crankbaits and some reaction a little more. Sprinkle it in at least. Keep if you're bottom bouncing, keep doing that to keep catching fish so you maintain your confidence. But at the same time, you need to try throwing probably some more reaction and some bigger lures. What would you say, brother? I didn't mean to cut you off.
At the Delta, don't be afraid to throw the big 9-inch pencil popper either. Either blue and chrome or chrome and black works really good. Red and black works good.
Red and white's a striper color, yeah. Usually.
Well, no, I've got largemouth on it too.
Yeah, me too. But like at the Delta, those plugs work good.
Any line through swim bait at the Delta that you can put the hook on the top and click the top of the weed edges, that'll catch you big largemouth. Don't throw the little whopper plopper up there. Throw the bigger ones.
Yeah.
The black dog baits, the walking baits, throw those. Especially this time of the year into the fall. And this time of the year, I throw a lot of spinner baits. And I throw them either on, depending on the tide. If it's a low tide, it's on the outside edge of the weed. If it's a high tide, I get my boat right over the weeds and I throw on the inside.
Yep, lines. Throw a jig. Well, listen, when you're throwing let me tell this guy real quick. J-Rod, when you're bottom bouncing, you want to fish more of at a 45. You don't want to technically parallel. It may work real good, but you're going to get snagged so much, you're going to frustrate the shit out of yourself. You need to make sure that your lure is coming downhill at least to a certain degree, as well as coming sideways. Because if you fish too much sideways and there's all these different terrain forms and stuff, you're going to get snagged left and right. But by fishing shallow to deep and with a little bit of a diagonal cut to it, you're going to cover a little bit more of the strike zone that you're wanting to do, but you won't get snagged as much. So parallel fishing is for when you're using like a reactionary bite, like a square bill, a Cinco, or a square bill, a spinnerbait, topwater, stuff like that. Now, if you're using a bottom bouncer, it's great to fish parallel to docks, parallel to weed edges, parallel to certain things. But if you're fishing a rocky, structurally, shoreline that is not uniform, working it exactly parallel, a bottom bouncer is a very good way to get snagged. You'll see what I'm talking about. I would recommend that if you're fishing a jig, parallel would be your boat's right here, your kayak, or you're on shore, and then you're casting exactly like this. That's how you work reactionary baits. If you're a bottom bouncer and you're fishing from shore, you want to fish at an angle, right? 45s. And if you're on a boat casting ashore, same thing. You don't necessarily want to cast directly ashore and work it down. I mean, you can, and then what you can do is try to make a million casts and cover every little spot. But if you get it with a bottom bouncer, you get parallel, you cast that bottom bouncer and you try to drag it like this, somewhere along that line, you will get snagged. So if you're in a boat and you're casting at an angle like this, then if the fish are, let's say, right here, then by coming at an angle, you're covering, let's say, a little bit more of that strike zone where that fish may come out and hit your bait. But if you're casting directly at the shore and the fish is right here and you casted right here or over here, and then you cast over here and that fish was right here, you're going to miss it. So there's a there's a balance to play, but I recommend with a bottom bouncer that you do not get exactly parallel. That is only for reactionary stuff. Or if you're fishing like a weed edge or certain, again, yes, bottom bouncers are to be worked parallel like that. But a rocky bottom lake like Maloney's, I want to make sure if you're going to throw the jig, pull yourself out if you're in a kayak or boat and get away from shore a little bit and do it at an angle.
See me in the wintertime.
What kind of rods should you pair with this SLX? This is a 721. I would probably be using something like a medium heavy with this right here. Medium heavy with a maybe a little bit of a faster action tip. That looks like that's going to be like a good jig and reel, or a the speed is decent, but it's not high speed. It's not an 8 or 9 to 1. It's a 7-2-1. So the ratio is better than like a 6 or a 5 to 1, like a spinning rod, right?
I would probably throw like a 7-foot to a 7-4,
7-4,
or even 7-6, medium heavy with a moderate tip.
Yeah.
You could throw chatterbaits on this. You could throw square bills on it, jigs, spinner baits.
Yeah, it's got a moderate retrieve, so you use something that you basically.
I wouldn't throw frogs on that. For a frog, I'd throw like a 7.5 or higher.
Yeah, or an 8, especially like a jerk bait or something you need to pull line in quickly too.
Or you could even throw S wavers with a reel like this, or these Kitex on the jig heads.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect for that.
But he wants to know what kind of rod, so that's where I was thinking the medium heavy.
Yeah, medium heavy with a moderate action tip, and depending on your price range.
Yep. Well, folks, appreciate you guys joining the show tonight. We've gone pretty late. If you guys get a chance, smash that subscribe. For those of you who are interested, we do have memberships. So remember, members, once a month, you get a giveaway that's just for you. And we give away cool things like reels like this. We have cool gifts. Members get early access to all the videos before anyone else does. They get special shout outs, live streams, and things that are just for them. So cool reason. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching tonight. I really appreciate everybody's support. We went a little bit later than normal. So thank you. We'll see you guys back on the show Friday. As long as work doesn't take me overboard. If not, we'll see you guys probably with the cool surprise weekend live stream. I've got some little tricks and things up my sleeve that I'm wanting to try to bring to the channel. I got some good news that we'll save for probably next week. Don't forget, we have 2 giveaways that are still open, and those should be closing sometime next week, and we'll be hosting the giveaways soon. So keep your notification bells checked. And thank you guys and gals so much. You guys have a good night. Sayonara and sign off. Peace.
Take it easy, people.
Yep.